Kitty don't know.
Why don't you get up in the window, Cricket? Come up here.
Trying to tempt him. He's tempted.
He'll come in his own good time.
I know. I like to pretend that I have influence over Cricket sometimes.
Come on, Cricket.
The people want to see your beautiful boy.
Come say hello.
Is that your notification for me just dinging in there?
Yeah.
That's good. They actually went out then. Other people are probably just now receiving. I know, only 1:10 in, and you got your noto. Cool. I had a sleepy day today. Anybody else? Probably not. I had a very sleepy day. I took a very long nap today and it felt really good, and fuck you. Well, what do you think of Cornel West? I wish Cornel West would have been a political figure 20 years ago. I wish he would have been a more solid leftist political figure 20 years ago. I know he's been around longer than 20 years, but I'm just saying, like, as a candidate, I think he would have been possibly a better candidate to run 20 years ago than he would be now. Hello, Polska. I'm doing okay, man. California dreaming the day away, you know. Yeah, that's right, Otello. I haven't seen your little fucking ass around here in a while. What's the haps with that, man? No, I understand. I do these at weird times. Mornings and late nights. It's kind of strange. Strange timing. Damn, lots of people. Lots of oldies but goodies in here. New Josa's in here. You know what, dude? I've been waiting for some people, like some recognizables, to come in, because we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a standard moderator for Nijosa. You don't gotta do nothing, Nijosa. It's just like, you know, you've been around like fucking at least 6 or 7 years as a ideologite, so welcome to the fucking Spectres, homeboy. You don't gotta do nothing. You're just like, you know, you're backup. You're backup. Well, now you're a mod on this one. Congrats, congrats. Another Spectre, a returning Spectre. A returned Spectre, absolutely. Welcome to the Smoke Gang. Cool. What are the benefits of being a member of the Smoke Gang? Can you fill me in on what's happening with the Smoke Gang? Is there a cool leather vest that I get to wear that says Smoke Gang on the back of it, or what? How do you come up with the names for these? I named this one because I just got done watching that movie Abigail, which I thought was pretty fun. I was actually like impressed by that movie. I was like, whoa, this was a fun movie all the way through. Neat. A vampire movie that doesn't suck dick. Cool. You guys seen it yet? This Abigail movie? Like, I'm usually pretty skeptical of movies that are led by like a kid, but they found a good kid. Vampire flick. Guaranteed it doesn't turn out that, you know, it's got a good twist to it. And good gore. A lot of action and good character actors and stuff in it. I was actually like, kind of like, huh, when we just finished it. I was like, damn. That was kind of a fucking badass movie right there. I mean, it wasn't like call your mama and go see it twice in the theater good or anything like that, but it was like surprisingly fun movie in a genre like horror. I feel like has been like either comedy first, then scary, or totally fucking like dour, dark, dismal kind of horror seems to be, which is fine. I like it all, but like to find a movie that is horror first, kind of comic relief second, it felt like a 90s or like a late 80s horror movie, really it did. Like with a modern twist, modern lingo, a more modern kind of like story probably, but pacing and action and stuff really felt like Blade. Like it was very reminiscent of maybe like the first two Blade films and From Dusk Till Dawn, kind of like with a dash of From Dusk Till Dawn. Well, that's the thing though, Skeptical Jesus, is like, I really fucking feel like vampires, a lot of people think they get them. And that's why there's so many shitty vampire movies. Because if you don't hit the tone just right on a vampire movie, they suck. You know what I mean? If you like, there's so many examples, like Vampire in Brooklyn, for example. So it's one of those movies that fucking sucks. Dinor.
Heard he'd go in with you.
Maybe he did.
Now he's out.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez,
He almost followed you to the car the other day, too. He's being sneaky.
Yeah. I think part of the problem with the vampire movies was it's kind of like adherence to the trope thing. It's not that you can't really. I mean, I guess you could make a, and they have. They made vampire movies that are like anti-trope movies, where it's like this is a vampire, but it doesn't operate like you remember.
Yeah.
All the way up to like they can go in sunlight.
Yeah, like Twilight.
Twilight and shit, right? Like, so the vampire...
the sparkle vampire.
The vampire mythos has been fucking turned on its head multiple times, sometimes to great effect and sometimes not to great effect. It's not an issue of the vampire mythos. I think people are stuck in this idea about vampires. And if you don't hit the tone right, it doesn't come off right. Like, it has to be a certain kind of predatory evil. And it's not always the same vampire to vampire movie. Vampire movie to vampire movie. You can have a different type of vampire with different powers and different things, but it's like ultimately, if you don't hit the tone of a vampire right, then it doesn't work. It can't be like a zombie flick. It can't be like a demon. Like, I think a lot of vampire movies end up being like demon possession movies. It's not a demon. A vampire is like a fucking human being that has been made into something that's more predatory. It's a predator of a human being. It's like a stand-in for a mass murderer, basically. But it's the thing that goes bump in the night, right? It's a very primal and elemental thing.
I feel like also they try to address the ennui of immortality, too.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This movie went into it a little bit, but in a way that was different. Like explored it through the like parent-child relationship, which is interesting, right? You don't really see that a whole lot well, you do, but not in the same way. Actual parent, actual child, not parent vampire or child vampire. You know, but whatever. Like, it adhered pretty closely to a lot of tropes. Kind of turned some other ones upside down, but ultimately it was the tone of the movie that made it work. A vampire is not always what you expect it to be, and this was one of those movies. I like that. I mean, Nosferatu is great. Both of the Nosferatus. I like the original and the
And it was
Max
nice
Schreck
to have a
Nosferatu.
break from the sex, too. Like, that's a thing that's very heavily leaned on in a lot of vampire movies.
That is true.
Sex.
That is true. And with this one, not to spoil anything, but it's kind of like right in the tagline and shit. It's about a little girl vampire,
You
so
can't-
they really couldn't get into that much or at all,
Yeah.
understandably.
Yeah.
But that was nice. It was nice
Yeah.
that it wasn't just all about them being the sexiest thing on the planet.
Yeah, the seduction.
Right, yeah, that wasn't really part of it. And that was cool. They were just, you know, it was a very, it was different. I liked it. I liked it. But,
Have you heard of the theory that, like, vampire movies are ascendant in conservative eras and zombie movies are ascendant in liberal eras?
I guess, maybe. I don't know. I've heard that.
Because, like, the biggest boogeyman in a conservative era is, like, this stark
Sex.
individual,
Right.
and then, like, the liberal fear is the horde.
You're right. I mean, it kind of is the opposite sometimes, though, if you really
Yeah.
think about it. Like, you know, like, conservatism for a lot of people is the
hive mind.
resisting. Well, no, it's resisting submitting yourself to the government.
Yeah.
So they see liberalism as a hive mind.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't agree, but I see how some of them think so. The way that the left is so quick to pick up on buzzwords and terminology and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, the right does that too.
I know
like,
they
were
do.
all
I know they
paired,
do.
yeah.
But I'm critiquing the left from the left and trying to give a little bit of fucking charitability to Republican people here. The left says crazy shit. So does the right. But the left says crazy shit sometimes. Front's crazy shit. Front shit that's just socially, like, even if I don't think it's crazy, socially just not gonna fly. And they decide to front that shit instead of a message that would appeal. So what are fucking Republicans supposed to do? What are they supposed to look at? You know what I mean? I feel the same way about us. Like, if, as a leftist, if I were looking to get myself into the left-right paradigm, what are the fucking Republicans offering me other than name calling and bullshit? It's the same thing. Weirdness, like being all fucking like obsessed with people's sexualities and their genitals and blah 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 blah, right? Like, they're pointing it out as part of the Democratic strategy right now. Like, they're weird over there, but you know what? To a fucking like Southerner that's grew up in a small ass fucking town or whatever, or a really southern big town, and that's the kind of people they've been around, don't cotton to that type of thing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying we have to tiptoe around their sensibilities, but I'm just saying when you lead with the foot that they're going to reject out of hand, you never start a conversation. A conversation never gets off the ground if you lead with the most radical foot. That's
The thing I've noticed too is the environment isn't even really being discussed in this election.
nothing is. Like, we're barely discussing like inflation. This election, the parties have seemed to land on a battle plan that's pretty similar. It's like, let's question the validity of this candidate. And I'm Donald Trump. Let's question the validity of Kamala Harris because she didn't primary anywhere. Why was she just coronated? I'm Kamala Harris. Let's question the validity of Trump. He's a guy that did an insurrection. He's a felon. He's a weirdo. Right? And that's like...
It's the vibe election.
Exactly. It's 100% vibes now. This is the first true millennial election. It really is. The millennials are now fucking 40-something. And you know how they love their vibe check. This is the vibe election. We're now seeing what's going to become a national strategy now. This isn't going to flip. Now that they've got us not even like expecting platform anymore, like, nobody cares. That used to be the main thing. What is this guy saying he's going to do? What is this guy saying he's going to do?
I mean, they still put forth some of it in their speeches, but like in terms of just like the focus, it's not.
No, no. No, they're not talking about the most critical fucking thing, which is our planet is becoming uninhabitable due to our actions, and we're exacerbating it. Nobody's even talking about that. The only thing that's come out of the Democrats recently about global warming issues is Kamala Harris's campaign saying she does not support a fracking ban like she did in 2017. Oh. She's walked back a bunch of positions that people were calling her based about a week ago, and they're still K-hiving. They're still coconut mommying. It's like she's just literally like morphing into Biden in front of us.
Well,
she's walked back her border talk. She thinks that what Biden is doing is working, and she's going to do more of it. I'm trying to remember all the walkbacks.
Also, Medicare for all, single payer.
Medicare for all, single payer went out the window. She's not interested in that anymore. There's no talk about raising the federal minimum wage. That's been thrown out the window. That was one of her big campaign things in 2020. Before she dropped out, before anybody cast a single primary vote because she was polling in single digits, low single digits.
It seems like the price she had to pay to get to be Biden's replacement is to just be Biden but younger.
Yep. They were just like, look, we'll let you do this, but everything about this platform is going to be your platform. You're going to run it just like he did. And if you're cool with that, here's the crown. If not, we'll run a primary. We'll find somebody who is. So yeah, I think you're right. And slowly, but she's just kind of like spacing it out, because all the K-Hive people started freaking out because she's on the record saying she's for single payer. She's on the record for saying, oh, she's based. And Coconut Mommy has made it clear she's no longer based, if she ever was. Not even after the election yet. She won't even throw it out there as like bait.
Yeah.
Before the election, she wants to make sure she's not doing Medicare for all.
The thing is, that replacement was almost entirely about the donors.
Yep.
They did it because of the donors.
Remember all that fucking talk about how she was going to be tougher on Israel? And in that meeting she said
I won't be silent.
Yeah, I will not be silenced. And then there was all that scuttlebutt about that meeting being contentious, but that private meeting that she had with Netanyahu where she apparently got under his skin. And she's done nothing but praise Israel's right to defend itself in the last week. It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. And people are just so caught up in the football game that they're just going to fuck this planet over. And at this point, like, I gotta be honest with you, dude. I'm fully fucking getting so sick of this politics shit, and it's already way too early. Usually I do my fucking, like, I'm gonna fucking burn out after election. You saw 2020. You remember electoral night?
Yeah.
I cried, did I not, at the end of it? You remember that? I bawled and blubbered to you because I was so stressed, and I was so sad about how it was turning out and how it looked like it was going at that time. When I went to bed, it looked like Trump had it sewed up. And I knew in my heart of hearts, as much as I despise libs, I knew their hearts were going to be broken by that. And I knew that even if he did squeak out a win, that he was just going to be a do-nothing. And I just lost it. And I'm already fucking feeling, not like crying, but I'm just starting to feel that fucking fatigue. Drag of, like, I've been repeating myself for like 3 years now, man. The Biden presidency has been whack for me because it's just been me trying to find new ways to put my platform out there, like my ideas out there, but saying the same shit, having people misinterpreting it, finding another way to fucking put it that isn't as easily misinterpreted in that way, and then having people just misquote it. Brazil. Oh, poor Aquarismo Marinho. He got banned for spamming the Brazilian flag. He just loved him some Brazil, you know what I mean? Well, I'm really curious about your knowledge of Scottish lineage considering our shared Highland-Lowland mutt genetics. More specifically, if you know about the connection to the French. I don't. I haven't done a whole lot of digging But I know that like the Scottish Highlander clan kind of shit is all on my mother's side. My father's side also comes from the same county in Scotland, but they were royalists. They were royal adjuncts in Scotland, a very minor house. A house that served at the same time that the Church clan, or the Kirk clan, was also a royal adjacent family. So there's a good chance that people from my mother's side of the family killed people from my father's side of the family in the kind of like rebellions and shit. But yeah, no, dude, I haven't been able to really suss out where the French connection is with me, although I don't have much French, bro. It's not like it's barely double digits. It's like 10% or something. And maybe like way less, like 6% German, maybe 10 French. And then the rest of it is all Scottish, Irish, British, and Scandinavian. You know what I mean? That Norwegian kind of bloodline or whatever that we're, because, you know, like 600 fucking straight years of Viking raids on the British Isles and Europe and in general, I'm from that. You know what I mean? As far as I can tell. When I talk to older people that know about our genetics and stuff, they will tell me like, you've got like the beard. You've got like the McBean beard. I'm like, oh. It's like, yeah, you got this reddish, full, bushy beard. You know what I mean? Apparently just runs on that, my mom's side of the family. The McBeans in my family, actually, when they migrated here, they dropped the Mick and they just became Bean. In the same way that Parky, the clan Parky, was, it stems from the Scottish clan Park, royal aligned Scots, Park. And so, yeah, that's the etymology of the two sides of my family. Or at least the patrilineal sides of my family. Of course, the matrilineal sides, I'm not sure as much about my mom's mother. No. It's actually the other way around. My mom's father. His lineage is a little harder for me to follow and find. And so I don't know. He might account for the French. And then, you know, on my dad's side, it is the other way around. It's my grandmother's side that I don't know as much about. My grandfather's side, the Park side, that I know more. So, kind of strange, huh? How did you find that out? Well, I mean, number one, you know your family names, right? And then you look into the etymology of your family names. And then you look into, like I did the, what do they call it, Ancestry.com thing, where it's like you try and find notable documents and stuff that are signed by your family. And I was able to trace the McBean side of my family all the way back to New York City, and on a migrant ship in the 19th century. And there was, a census taken of the family at that time, and I was able to trace my dad's side, the Parks. I was able to trace them back to a similar situation, but just like 50 years later. And so, from what I can tell, both sides of my family came to America sometime in the 1840s through the 1890s. My dad's family pops up in the 1890s, my direct lineage through Park, and then my mother's side, McBean, shows up in the 1840s or 50s. Apparently I've got a lot of like extended family in Canada too. Because a big chunk of my family immigrated. Instead of coming to New York, they went to, like, you know, East Coast Canada. was curious about those DNA tests, and so many European countries are only a few hundred years old. It seems a bit nebulous. Like, how often do people claim Visigoth ancestry? Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's there's a lot to be said for what you're talking about. Yeah, European countries are, you know, if you just look at like a changing map of the borders of Europe through from 1600 through to the modern age, it's like watching a fucking psychedelic movie or something, right? It's like looking at a kaleidoscope. So yeah, I mean, like this whole obsession that people have with certain types of lineage, like I'm not one of those dudes. I think it's interesting, but I don't have like a Scottish pride bumper sticker and like a bunch of Scottish shit. I'm an American, okay? Like, my family came here a couple hundred years ago, and I'm fully integrated, okay? I'm not trying to pretend like I just think it's interesting, right? Where my family came from, the roots of my family are interesting, and knowing a little bit about that is interesting, but I'm not one of these dudes, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna get a kilt, and I'm gonna learn to play the bagpipes because I'm fucking Scottish as shit. It's like, nah. I'm an American, okay? I'm gonna wear a fucking horned helmet and build a longboat. It's like, no. I mean, got a lot of Scandinavian ancestry, but I'm an American, okay? There is not a goddamn drop of Scandinavian intent left in me, bro. I'm 100% red, white, and blue cacao. Okay? I feel like some people just like run with it, you know what I mean? They find out that they're Scottish, or they find out that they're Irish, and suddenly like their whole house is decorated in like 4-leaf clovers. You like whiskey? I do not. No, I like tequila.
I'm the whiskey head.
Yeah, Amelia likes whiskey.
My default is a whiskey.
And she
sour
knows
at a bar.
it's great for her too, because it's like she knows she's never gonna wake up one day and find that I got into the whiskey and there's hardly any left when she wants some. Because dude, you never catch me doing anything with no whiskey. I learned my lesson early with the whiskey, bro. And vodka is dog shit to shoot. Anybody that shoots vodka, let me tell you something about vodka, okay? I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. And if I'd have known this secret, it would save me thousands of dollars in my 20s, okay? Probably. Grey Goose vodka is the same shit as Popov vodka, okay? Vodka isn't fine. Vodka isn't aged in an oak barrel for a century and then fucking, you know what I mean? It's not like single malt whiskeys or fucking bourbons or scotches, okay? Or tequilas. There's no like real artisan nature. Potato liquor is just clear fucking rubbing alcohol that you drink, okay? And it tastes good mixed in with shit. I love a vodka drink. Okay, if you got a mixed drink, if you're feeling like drinking a fruity booty drink, then vodka makes a good mixer. But you don't shoot vodka, and if you're buying rounds of Grey Goose shots at 20 bucks a pop, you're just getting ripped, bro. And trust me, I did that shit. I had friends that like to shoot vodka, and on their birthdays, I would be like, dude, Grey Goose, Grey Goose, Grey Goose, Grey Goose, and it's just so stupid.
Really, yeah, if you're having any mixed drink, just get the well liquor.
Yeah,
Their
getting
well
top
liquor is probably some brand anyways.
Getting top shelf liquor in general is usually a waste. There are certain times where I'll do it. I really like a super good tequila. And if you've got like Jose Cuervo as your well liquor, and you've got a nice bottle of tequila, and I pay a premium, I'm probably going to pay the premium on that. If you're like a single malt person, you pay the premium. You know, you get the Glenfiddich or whatever the fuck, right? You don't do that with vodka. Vodka, there's no fine artisanal vodka, okay? Vodka is just potato liquor. It's gross. Good in a mixed drink. gross elsewhere. Okay? Cool.
You're mentioning the ancestry thing, and I've gotten a little less white, apparently, with their updated.
Oh, shit. Your whiteness is disappearing, dude. White erasure is actually real. It's happening.
My percentage of not white has been increasing.
What's it at now?
2.7%.
I want a divorce. I'm kidding.
Those damn Mongolians.
Yeah.
Fucking Ottoman Empire shit. That's all it is.
Personally, I hate tequila because I got sick on it first. See, that's why I hate whiskey. See, we're brothers in that, right? My first time going bare ass out, getting too drunk, was on whiskey. And I threw up my guts out. And ever since then, the smell of it and the bare taste of it sometimes, like if it's mixed with certain things, I can drink it. So like
Eggnog.
Yeah, Jack and Coke. But only Coke. Jack and anything else, I will fucking throw it away. But a Jack and a real can of Coke. Not Coke Zero, not Coke whatever. Red can of Coke and Jack. I'll have that. I will do eggnog and whiskey. Okay? That's good. Or bourbon or whatever the fuck. It hides it enough to where I can stomach it. But anything else, pretty much, like Amelia likes a whiskey sour. Nope.
I'll have an old fashioned.
Old fashioned. Nope. Can't do it.
Irish coffee.
Irish coffee, can't do it. But on the other hand, I like tequila and me, we're simpatico. The thing about tequila is this. I'm a firm believer in this, and like people will say like science has found this just isn't true. Different hard alcohols produce different drunks. Okay? I'm a firm believer in this. I've seen it too much for it not to be real. And the reason, and this is maybe not all that healthy, and it's why I don't drink it much. The reason I like tequila is because I get borracho on tequila. That means I get fucked up, but in a way that's kind of like counter to my personality. Like I get kind of aggressive, not mean. I don't turn into a punchy drunk or anything, but it makes me feel like standing in people's faces and going, "Hey, what's up?" You know, it gets me a little on edge, and I like that, Holmes. So tequila, I get borracho, and I like it, and I can handle it. Like I handle it really well.
You're a little fussy about wines too, aren't you?
Oh, I'm very fussy about wines. I'm a snob. I like 3 types of wine. Mm-hmm. And anything outside of that, I just kind of drink it begrudgingly if I have to. Like I like a white Zinfandel. I'll drink that all night.
Moscato.
A Moscato and a Malbec. And that's it. 1, 2, 3. Take your pick. If it's not that, I hate it.
I'm the opposite. I'll get cheap wine for cooking sometimes, and whatever the fuck it is, I'll just finish it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I haven't had it in a while, though, because I got those cooking wines.
Yeah.
Almost entirely because I was shopping, and I'm like, I can't go to self-checkout with alcohol. So it's like, fuck it, I'll get the cooking wine that I don't need to go into the regular wine for.
Yeah. Those are wine mom wines. I guess I'm a wine mom then.
Yeah.
I'm picky as fuck too. People try to get me on this, Pinot this. Yeah, I've had Pinot Noirs. I don't like them, bro. Too much tannin in a Pinot Noir.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the opposite. Like, I like stronger flavored alcohols.
I think that's
like
true.
a red wine. I like a Merlot that's super dry. I like the whiskeys.
Yes, indeed. but that's it. Like, I really don't like wine. That's a bad experiences with wine. Everybody's saying like, oh, this gives me a hangover. The worst fucked up hangovers I ever had in my life were cheap wine. Cheap wine, it will make you feel like shit the next day.
Well, I think the tannins kind of create like an allergic response, and you have a lot of allergies. So I think that might be why.
Well, it was not only that, but it's like when I was a kid, cheap wine was the easiest rot gut shit for us to get. Because our families all worked like either for a winery or for the glass factory that made the bottle. Either way, people were trading around cases of fucking Carlo Rossi vintage wine, which is just rot gut. It's a gallon jug. You've probably seen them. Big glass jug, and they're fucking $10 or whatever. It's fucked. And we'd get 2 or 3 of those, and we'd take them out in the country and just pass them. You know what I mean? We called it apple nasty because that was the easiest one to get. It was apple wine. I can't remember exactly what the configuration was, but it was gross. And we had a thing where, like, if you were one of our group, you knew how to drink a handle of Carlo Rossi. You don't grab it like this and go because you spill it all over yourself. You put your finger through the neck hole. You push the bottle up against the back of your arm, and you drink it like that. So we would pass it like that. Pretty soon that first one would be empty, and that second one would pop. You get drunk on a gallon of Carlo Rossi with your friends, you will get fucked up. You're gonna be puke. Like, hangovers are usually for me just like, oh god, you know, like I've got a headache and I'm irritable and I feel light sensitive and bedraggled. The only time I've ever had projectile vomiting when I was trying to drink water the next day was off of Carlo Rossi. Whereas, like, I woke up the next day and I was just like, oh man, dude, I feel like shit. I gotta get some water in me. Couldn't keep water down for the first like 2 or 3 hours I was awake. I mean, yeah, there are people that pickle themselves on wine. There are people that got like a huge drinking problem, but for some reason wine to them is different because people look at it as like an accoutrement to food. And going like, ooh, girl, I had a whole bottle of wine. You know what I mean? People, like, it's not like so obscene as like, ooh, I drank a whole bottle of vodka, or I just drank a whole fucking, you know what I mean? Like, if you drink a bottle of wine, ooh, girl, you know what I mean? And people will get in that mode.
Like, depending on what wine it is, it's equivalent to like a 6-pack.
Yeah, a whole bottle of wine is a fuck ton of liquor. People delude themselves that it's classy. Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of them hide it. Because when they go into the Bevmo and they buy 10 bottles of wine every week, and they look all prim and proper, people probably just assume like, oh, this is a lawyer. She entertains a lot. You know what I mean? She has a lot of fucking functions, and she knows a lot about wine. She gets really good wines, and she's always so nice, and she tips, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They hide it. It's socially acceptable for like a mom to walk into Bevmo and buy 3 bottles of wine. People don't know she's going to go drink them all tonight. Who cares? You know what I mean? But if she was waddling into a shady fucking gas station and waddling out with a fucking 40 in a paper bag, or, you know what I mean, a handle of vodka every day, people would know, you know? It's just like a sneaky way of being a fucking functional alcoholic. It's like my parents, well, I won't say both of my parents, but my mother and a lot of her friends hid their alcoholism behind the blue-collar aesthetic. It was like, we work hard, we play hard. Fuck you. We work hard all night. We're going to come home and we're going to kill a 12-pack. And fuck you if you want to say anything about it. I ain't got no problem. I'm just a fucking working person. You know what I mean? That's what they hid it behind.
That's what you did, too.
Kind of. For me, it was like 90s was a nihilistic generation. For me, it was more just about, fuck it, let's get fucked up. That's what drove our shit. We weren't trying to excuse it. We were openly abusing.
You were rewarding yourself, too. Like I was the weekend, we earned it for working all week or whatever, no?
That's how it started.
Yeah.
you know, when I was a teenager or whatever, when we started drinking, it was something we only did on the weekend. And it was harder to get liquor and shit too when you're fucking 14. But, you know, like we would drink on the weekends, smoke on the weekdays, and then it became like by the time when I was in my 20s, it was every day. After work, my friends would already be at my pad. They all had keys. Like I would give my best friends a key to my pad so if they ever needed to fucking chill somewhere safe, they could come. And so they could come over and start partying before I got home. So like any day of the week, my best case scenario in my mind was, where am I going as soon as I get home and get a shower so I don't smell like fucking coffee? Or who's coming over tonight and what are we drinking? That was it. You know what I mean? Where's the party tonight? And because I was one of the only friends of my friend, like I didn't rent, I owned. But, you know, it wasn't like we could party like all night screaming, but I owned a condo and it was like there was no fucking manager to call. So if the cops came out and told us to keep it down, we just did. You know what I mean? I owned it. So that made my place the party place in the 20s. You know, the early to late 20s, that was my pad was it, basically.
It's the way you said that made it sound like in the 1920s when I was a young man.
Oh. Back in the 20s. I mean, I may as well be from the fucking 20s now. That's so fucking true, man. Sometimes I feel like such a kinship with the younger generation because they're into the same shit I was. They like video games and rap. Whoa. I'm not scared of that. But like sometimes I feel like, fuck, dude, I'm like an alien from another planet. Because some of the shit is just inscrutable to me. Like it's so contrary to like what we valued. Like the values are different. And not even values that I think matter. But we're talking kid values. Like, you don't say Pink Floyd is whack. You don't say Nirvana is whack. I don't care if you're only into rap. We don't want to hear that booty chatter out of your mouth in the circle. You know what I mean? It's not like you couldn't say it. You would just get fucked on mercilessly for having a dumbass opinion about something that we held dear. Music, movies, Marvel, the 3 M's. You know what I mean? Serious. That kind of media was all we had. There was no social media. So it was like, what music are you into? What movies are you chilling with? What else could you do? And now kids care so little about that shit. Well, they care about music, but it's more about the vibe of the music and less about the appreciation of a wide variety of it. It's like me and my friends, it was like a game to try and put each other on to different artists. And I was really bad at it. My friend Morgan was the champ. He got me into so much music because he was willing to listen to shit that other fucking kids probably, like Frank Zappa. Like if you try and listen to Frank Zappa, it is not super listenable. He was a mad genius, you know? And so, well, a lot of it's not super listenable. You know, and that was way before our time, too. It wasn't like Frank Zappa was popping off in the 90s. He was dead, I think, already, or dying.
Hey, what's on your nose? Come here.
You got a grass.
Feather.
Nothing is held sacred anymore. Everything is, yeah. I mean, it's not even about individualism, though. It's like, okay, let me talk a little bit about something else, right? Your fit was like number 3 thing, right? And now I feel like it's 1. You understand what I say when I say you're fit? That's how you guys say it. Like how you dress, like your clothes, your look, right? Your fit. People weren't like, damn, homie, that's a busted t-shirt. It was cool to wear a raggedy t-shirt. I mean, look at our idols. Dude. They didn't present as like crisp and fresh. They presented street as fuck. They wore fucking wife beaters, gold chains, and baggy pants and shit, sagging off their ass with boxer shorts and shit. And if they weren't that, they were wearing fucking flannels and ripped fucking pants and shit, dirty sneakers. Their hair was greasy as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a college and my fit is very basic. I wear cheap blue jeans and a cheap t-shirt, same thing every day. Everyone else is trying to peacock it up and half of them end up looking the same. Well, that's the thing, is like this whole like obsession. Like we hated, you know what we thought of, like, okay, I'm gonna throw something at you guys that's gonna blow your fucking mind, right? You know how brand obsessed everybody is now. They gotta have the Bape sweater. They gotta have the Gucci fucking slides. They gotta have, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody wants the Prada. Everybody wants the Gucci. Everybody wants the Fendi. Everybody wants all the polo shit, right? All the fucking brand name shit. Do you know what we thought of that type of shit back in the 90s? When I say we, I mean my group of friends and most of the kids that I knew. You know what we thought of that shit? It was something that your like grandmother lusted after. Like your grandma wants a Versace handbag. Your mom might like dream of the day that she has a Prada handbag or something. It was like, ugh. Like nobody wanted to have a logo on them in the 90s that wasn't for a band. Like nobody was gonna walk around with a corporate logo on them, bro. And I'm not even saying we were all like ANCAPs or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to paint. It was just lame. Our parents, think about it, dude. My parents, you guys call me a boomer. My parents were actual boomers. And they worshipped the dollar, man. They worshipped that finery. Now, my parents weren't into Gucci and Prada. I'm not trying to say that. But in a blue collar way, they had all the toys and all the cool shit, right? And I was raised in that. And what do you do when you become a teenager? You rebel, right? And my rebellion against that, and pretty much everybody else's rebellion against that, was to not give a fuck how you dressed. Wear ratty shit. Dude, I used to walk around in these green Puma shoes, and my mom would tell me, you need to replace, because they were flapping on the back, but they were comfortable as fuck. And my mom would tell me, you need to replace those shoes. I'm going to get you new shoes. And I was like, I won't wear them. I'm going to throw those shoes away one day. I was like, no, you won't. They're my shoes. Don't throw away my shoes, man. Dude, I used to walk around with them flappy, fucked up things on my feet. Pair of ripped up, fucking baggy ass Junko jeans. Big old fucking oversized hoodie. Roll right out of bed. Fucking bedhead going to fucking school. And everybody was like that. Now everybody's like all fucking like crisp. Got the hat cut. Got a mean mug for the all puckering up and shit. What is that? What's that, kids? Hold up. It's like, man, fucking, like if we saw a dude doing that back in the day, we probably would have beat him up on principle, bro. That's what I'm saying. I gotta like hold back my fucking disdain when I see that shit. And I'm about to say some shit right now, bro. But you know what? The 90s, I'm talking about the 90s. The 90s about to come out. Why are you acting like a bitch? I expect a chick to do that, bro. But when I see dudes all like... I'm like... That's all I gotta say, man. I'm not gonna go any deeper than that, but... Oh, Sean, I can't say it though, because I'm not trying to look. Not everybody is soft like a muffin, but I do gotta say, bro. And look, take this with a grain of. Call me a boomer, all right? I'm a fucking boomer, all right? There you go. I've already fucking preempted you, but I'm gonna say it now. People are soft as fuck, bro. These days. Two-ply. two-ply, enough to make a bear's ass squeaky clean and make him smile. You know what I mean? Two-ply. And that's all I got to say about it, bro. I'm not going to fucking get into detail about it, and I'm not really going to ride this till the wheels fall off. But that's some soft shit going on. Dude, you know what phrase I hear that just makes me want to fucking scream? And I hear it so much now. I can't X. Well, what the fuck do I need to hear from you from you about it then? If you can't, shut up. Like, I can't. Bro. I hate to be a fucking boomer about it, but that is not in my fucking vocabulary, bro. Yeah, sometimes it is. I can't run a marathon right now. Okay? I'm not saying be wild about it. It's just like, I can't get a job. I can't find a roommate. I can't move out of this shitty town. I can't. It's like, man, stuff your can'ts in a sack. Could you imagine if we did have a draft? What kind of nah. Bro, we're talking like video game soldiers, bro. It's gonna be Fortnite kids with guns. And they're gonna be like, holy shit, man, they're coming at us. Let's build a house real quick. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. That was mean. That was mean. Our drone skills would be god tier. That is probably true. I'll give you guys that. Your drone, your Twitch skills. I mean, can't. Yeah, hard and can't are two different fucking conversations. Abby, you're doing a good job. Everybody, dude, my whole life has been about confronting the things inside of me that I don't like. And I'm still doing it. And I don't think I'll ever stop. I think I'll die doing it. I think that's kind of like what human beings are supposed to be about. I think you learn from doing. You don't learn from I can't. I won't. Those things, when you're talking about your life, man, they fucking don't matter a fucking whit. When you're talking about your life, it's the only one you got. So you better learn to get around can't, and you better learn to just discard won't. Because I see you spinning out, man. I see a lot of young people, I mean, like, we've talked about it here, living at home later and later. And look, dude, I know the economy's worse now than it was in the 90s. I know that me owning a fucking home when I was 21 years old, owning a condo when I was 21 is a fucking fairy tale now. I get it. Stuff is hard. But if you think it was a fucking cakewalk back then, you're wrong. If you think we didn't have to grind for our swag, you're wrong. Everybody I knew had 2 jobs. Everybody I knew had a side hustle, and if they didn't, they were working all the time like me. I didn't want to have 2 jobs, so I picked up every fucking shift people would give me. My name was up on the board with my fucking cell phone number on it. Need a shift covered? Call Paul. I figured something out that I told other people about, and they started doing it. I went to other fucking Starbuckses. It's like, I'm allowed to work at these Starbuckses. Hey, I'm a Starbucks guy. You need a shift covered? I want you to tack this up in the back if you would. Dude, I would work fucking 7 days a week. I'd pull doubles. So if you think that was easy, fuck you. Cry me a river. Yep. I don't know what to say, man. And it's like a lot of people will be like, you're just judging them all. Everybody's like that. I know. I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm just saying, like, oh man, this culture radiates. I can't, I won't, I'm special, I'm unique. The main character syndrome shit is off the charts now. And it's not a fucking joke, bro. It sucks because a lot of you are gonna fall flat on your fucking asses in a way that's gonna be rough. Maybe you need to. That's how I learned. But I did it swinging. I didn't do it crossing my arms and sitting in the corner and going, I won't. You know, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at first, but I faced it head on and I went punching. I punched up my whole life. Always. You look like Gandalf unemployed. I run a really successful business. But fuck, man. Like, isn't this the generation of Gabe Newell? Like, you really look at a dude like me and think, he got no money. What do you do if I might ask this? I've been a podcaster for 10 years. I'm a business owner. I own a production company called Pessimist Productions. We run a show called Deep Fat Fried. And there's a clip channel called Onion Nuggets that pays my bills. For 10 years straight, I've done nothing but this for a living. Ooh-ah. Well, not quite 10 years. In 2025, it'll be 10 years. Yep. Yeah. It'll be around Christmas of 2025 will be my official 10-year anniversary doing podcasting for a living exclusively, you know. And 2027 will be 20 years for me on the platform. That's going to be crazy. Yeah, 2027 will be a full 20 years of being on YouTube for me. Pretty crazy to think about that. I think this mentality is partially why we've seen a rise of neats, too much I can't, not enough doing. I mean, I think so too. Did you gain traction right away or it took a few years? No, I mean, I really wasn't looking to gain traction. I used to do it as a hobby. And I met a dude named The Amazing Atheist way back in the day when he was first starting. And that connection didn't, you know, it wasn't like, I didn't even think about it. But fast forward to 2014, and I get a phone call from him saying, hey, dude, remember me? You want to be on a show? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't get it wasn't from him, it was from his co-host. But they'd started a podcast called Drunken Peasants. Had me on as a guest. The audience loved me, demanded me back as a guest. And well, I've told this story a million times, but the point is like, I didn't try to catch on. I just happened to get put on. Yeah, TJ was pretty much like the connection I made in the early days of YouTube that ended up paying off like 10 years later. Who knew? You know, it wasn't a plan. It wasn't calculated. It just happened that way. 100%, yeah. You know, I wouldn't be able to do this for a living had I not learned the things that I've learned from TJ, and had he not put me on, I never would have learned those things. You know, so. So yeah, for sure. I guess the if there's a moral to that, it's like you never know. You know what I mean? Do what you love, do what you enjoy, because you never know what's going to happen, who you're going to meet, what's going to happen. I am very pessimistic when people find out what I do for a living. The question is always like, "Oh, dude, you got any tips? Like, how can I do that?" And I'm a dream crusher, bro. I just tell them like, "I'm sorry, you can't." They'll be like, "What?" Like, it's not about you. You might be the most talented motherfucker on the planet, but if you don't know somebody who knows somebody, and you're just gonna try and put something out there, the chances of you getting discovered in the algorithm and fucking getting a big wide audience, I mean, obviously the chances are zero if you don't try. So I'm not trying to say don't try. I'm just saying, like, my path to doing what I do, there was no rhyme or reason to it. It's not something that you can recreate, you know. I'd say the best thing that you can do if you really want to try and be a podcaster or like do this, do content creation online or whatever, YouTube shit, is to try and get on somebody else's content, I guess. Somebody big, somebody bigger, and have them put you on, make a like a long-lasting connection with a person, because that might end up being you're friends with them, right? You're not asking them for shit. And then 10 years later, or 5 years later, they got a project and they think of you. Right. You know, but like that's not a plan that lets you get YouTube success in 365 days or less, you know. That's a long-term goal and it just may not happen out for you. And so I don't bullshit people and tell them like, "You can do it, man." You probably can't. And it's not about your talent, and it's not about your worth as a person, and I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm just saying, like, I started doing this when YouTube was brand fucking new. Brand spanking new. And I made a connection with somebody that hit it really big, over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and it ended up turning into a job for me 10 fucking years after the fact. And I never asked for it or wanted it. So... Queso looking ass. Queso looks like meat, bitch. I'm old enough to be Queso daddy. Queso ripping me off, homie. What you think about that? I was 18 years old when Queso was born. What you know about that? What you know about that? I know all about that. I got that loaded fofo on the low where the cheese at. Yeah, that's all good, man. I don't think TJ would feel disrespected by that. I don't feel disrespected when people say, "I like you, man, but I'm a TJ fan," you know? It's like, cool. That's chill, bro. I'm glad you like me. They like me. They really like me. I feel like a lot of my friends lack self-belief. They have all these plans and aspirations, but don't make any moves. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. T.I., that album, King. That whole album is fresh as fuck, bro. What you know about that? Louis knapsack, where I'm holding all the work at. What you know about that? What you know about that? Dude, that's such a good song. Riding around Atlanta in a Phantom with some China dolls. That's such a good fucking song, bro. Yeah, T.I. King is great, bro. That's old fucking early 2000s rap. You don't get a dude. There wasn't much better than that coming out in the early 2000s are kind of whack, but T.I. was not whack. One of my favorites was when TJ's computer was lagging and you said, "Sounds like a technical difficulty." I love that shit, bro. I love little wordplay things. I think people that watch me know that. G-Unit. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with G-Unit. I'm fine with G-Unit. Dude, I was a fucking No Limit Soulja fan, dude. I was a No Limit fan. You guys remember No... Yeah, nah, you youngsters don't even know what I'm talking about. You youngsters don't know nothing about no fucking No Limit. You don't know nothing about no Master P, Lord Have, fucking C Murder. You don't know nothing about no C Murder. I know you motherfucking feel me, C Murder. Ain't gonna die till a bitch neighbor kill me. Master P. Fuck them other neighbors, cause I'm down for my neighbors. Fuck them other neighbors, cause I'm down for my neighbors. Mr. Cow. Mr. Cow. Bone. I can't really listen to Bone anymore because I don't want to go into that whole story again. I know there's going to be a bunch of people that want to hear it, so I ain't even going to mention it. Let's just say I had a traumatic experience while Meet You at the Crossroads was playing, and so Bone doesn't hit the same as it was, but I was on the ground floor with Bone. East 99, that fucking album, where that first album that they released where Easy put them on. Oh my God, bro, that album cut so hard, bro. So yes, I liked Bone Thugs back in the day. Can't listen to them, not their fault. And what was the other one you mentioned? Bone Thugs and who? I listen to both. No, it's all good, man. You didn't know, and it's not like it's painful for me to like talk. I just don't want to go through the whole story again because I did it like 4 streams ago. Yeah, 3-6 off. Yeah, all day. Yeah, it's not a detail I always talk about because it's, you know, like it's becoming like a song that most people don't even remember. So what's the point of putting it in your story, you know? Do you see it as an eventual end? Do you see an eventual end to the Middle East situation? What's going to happen? No. There's going to be war. I mean, you guys better gear up. Like, your generation is going to be fucking asked to step up and go to war over there. That's just, I'm sorry to tell you, but I've lived through 2 separate invasions of the Middle East in the 80s and the late 80s under the first Bush, the invasion of Kuwait and then Iraq, Operation Desert Storm, and then in 2001, the invasion of Afghanistan, and in 2002, the invasion of Iraq. Again, Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation, I can't remember, Enduring Freedom. A lot of young people are going to die. Even more are going to be maimed physically, and even more are going to be permanently maimed psychologically. It's going to be terrible, and I'm so sorry. I was very lucky that they didn't institute the draft because I was the perfect age to be shipped over there. And, you know, I think that as the world gets more desperate and as people get more wary of military service, eventually draft is going to have to happen. And I think a lot of young people are going to get shipped and killed in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I'll be dead by the end of that. So, you know, I'm of no use to them. I'm too old, I'm fat and broken and resistant. I mean, they could lock me in a cell. I wouldn't point a gun at another human being and shoot them for the state. I have a principled stand against taking another person's life for any reason other than self-defense. And I don't see it as self-defense to be shipped to a foreign country to kill the indigenous population of that country for any fucking reason. So they could lock me in a cell or whatever they want to do. I'll take my lumps. But I'm pretty much aged out of that shit. I think 45 or 44 or 43 is the cutoff. So they're not even going to come knocking at my door, bro. Yeah. Or the Middle East is like Vietnam, unconquerable. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think Vietnam was unconquerable. I just think that America didn't see a cost benefit to doing it. So like, war is profitable to an extent, and then it becomes a drag on an economy. And once that happens, you come up with a reason to pull out. That's what happened in Vietnam. Or the worm turns on public opinion. That happened both with Vietnam and these Middle East wars that I'm talking about. At first, everybody was behind Vietnam. Then when they saw the slaughterhouse it became, they were like, nope, it's time to end that over there. And that brought it to a fucking halt. The fact that they lost the American people's will brought it to a halt. The same thing happened in Iraq. At first, everybody was all about fucking bombing the Middle East because we watched the horror of 9/11 happen in front of our eyes, and we were scared shitless, and we wanted to see people suffer like we had suffered as revenge. But once we saw what a slaughterhouse it was, and once we, started seeing the flag-draped coffins coming home, the reality set home for all of us, some of us earlier than others, and the American people roundly rejected the war in Iraq. By 2008, 2009, there was already mass discontent. And by 2012, it was just a foregone conclusion that it was over. So, they'll write it as long as there's people out there willing to simp for it. And then when those people see the slaughterhouse and really come to understand what it means to continue that war, then they'll end it. I'm a contractor in the Space Force. No talk of a draft. Who knows about the future, though? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow. I'm saying within 10, 15, 20 years, I think there's probably a good chance there's going to be a fucking scoop draft. For sure. Oh, the Howard Stern 9/11 episode should be required reading for anybody that wants to understand the national psyche on that day. There's some ugly shit. I mean, he says some wild shit that is not going to sound like shit that you could ever say now, even on a Twitter account, much less a national radio program. But you'll have to understand that it was a different time. But if you listen to that whole broadcast, start to finish, you will see the national mood on 9/11, and you'll understand why it was so easy to get us to go along to get along after 9/11. We were terrified. That's on YouTube. You can listen to it. I recommend you do if you've never heard it. It is fascinating. And Howard Stern, say what you want about the dude, at that point he had balls because he was in 30 Rockefeller Center at the top of a high-rise in Manhattan on that day. And everybody else that worked in that radio building evacuated. His show was the only one that was running. Pretty fucking crazy, right? Oh, the anti-Muslim rhetoric was insane. You guys talk about, like, these words, you don't even hear it anymore. Like, even out of the right, raghead, sand N-word, just like the monkey rhetoric and stuff like that. the fucking political cartoons that were just ripped right out of the book of the fucking, like, if you look at the way Japanese people were portrayed during World War II, the way Germans were portrayed during World War I and II, right? Just big, goofy, giant freaks, right? It was nuts. Nuts. It was wild to live through. And people, like, don't understand the damage that did to the national psyche and how the echoes of that are still driving policy. People think it's, oh, that was fucking 10 million years ago. Well, on the global scale, it really wasn't. And on a policy scale, you would all do well to understand it. Because you want to understand why we're going the direction we're going, you need to fundamentally understand 9/11/2001. 100%. You need to know what happened that day, and you need to know how America reacted to it and how the world reacted to it if you want to understand the current political climate. It turned people into fucking zombies, bro. This whole idea of, like, hate everybody that doesn't believe the same thing you do in politics is brand new in my life. It didn't exist until 9/11/2001. That's when the polarization shift started, to where you can't even be friends with somebody because they're a Republican. Like, that shit started that day. Nobody cared before then. Politics was a side gig that everybody fucking just agreed to disagree on. And now it's everybody's front foot. And if you don't toe my line, fuck you. You're not even a human being. You're a Nazi. You're a lib cuck. Fuck you. That shit didn't exist. Shit wasn't a thing, bro. Just wasn't. Not on a national scale. Maybe like locally and in certain fucking really political districts. Maybe it was like that for some people. But dude, I didn't see that shit. Kind of polarization just did not fucking exist. 9/11 drove this country insane. And the reason you guys are suffering is because of that insanity. We became a schizophrenic country on 9/11/2001. Shit stopped making sense. And that's why Donald Trump, a fucking reality TV show star with a dump in his pants, a literal giant 3XL adult diaper with a big smelly dump in it, is probably about to win the presidency. You guys want to understand it? You need to start looking at recent history. Because the amount of ignorance that people display about shit that happened right before they were born is fucking staggering to me, bro. You don't know? Like, my generation knew about Vietnam. You don't know what kind of, like, happened on 9/11 and what the national fucking cost of that was? You don't know what it did to this country and to the social contract? You don't know what it did to politics? You don't know how politics went on a bullet train to hell and never came back off of it after that fucking time? Not to say it was perfect before then, it was far from it. But it made sense on some level. Now it doesn't. I want to tell you guys something. I want you to open up your ear hole and listen. If you're 20 years old, 25 or younger, you haven't known a single day of your life where America wasn't at war, and you haven't known a single day of your life where you had anything like real privacy, autonomy, and privacy in your life. You're not secure in your persons, you're not secure in your homes or your belongings from federal wiretapping, unwarranted data collection. Your metadata is all over the place. Like, you don't have a single moment of your life where you've had true privacy. And you've never known a single day where your country wasn't at war. What do you think about that? You think that might have something to do with how nothing makes any sense anymore? You think that might have something to do with the polarization of our politics and we can't even talk to each other anymore across the aisle? You think you may want to learn about what happened there so you can try and counter it in your own life? Well, I think maybe you should. I think maybe it might be smart. It will all make sense when you know the reasons behind everything and who runs everything. I mean, I don't know if it'll all make sense, but it'll make more sense now than, or more sense to you then than it does now. Like once you've taken some time to avail yourself of like, why does nothing make sense? Why does everything seem like a fucking clown show? Like my answer is 9/11/2001. It was the last little fucking bit of sanity in this country was wrung out of it, and people started hating one another for real. More polarized and divided, almost to the point of it being comparable to the Jedi and Sith from Star Wars. Cartoonish, yeah, cartoonish division, cartoonish portrayals of one another. One side pointing the finger and calling people that are just like moderately Republican Nazis, and the other side pointing the finger and calling everybody genital mutilators and blue-haired fucking weirdos and shit, and that's it, right? It's like literal cartoonish hatred. And we don't know how to do anything else in this country anymore because we've done nothing else since 9/11/2001. Cartoonish fucking hatred. And just a childlike view of geopolitics with zero historical context, because everything's different now. No, it ain't. Dude, does that work on people? That copy pasta of like, hey, this is YouTube help. You need to end your live stream. It's like, you know, they have a button that can turn that off, right, retard? If they wanted to end my live stream, they could just stop my live stream. Well, you shut your mouth before somebody notices you and gets you banned. I'm feeling gregarious tonight, but my wrenches are not. So why don't you go find somebody fucking gullible, because I'm a little too old for that one. This country was built on putting our differences aside and to look out for each other. I don't know about that. I think you'd be a good country singer. I would. Yes, sir. Was the dark of the moon in the 6th of June. I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his life's blood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive. I was a sailor. I was born upon the tide. With the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner down the lonely Colorado. You want to hear country roads? I don't think I can do country roads, though, because I've got kind of a deep voice, and John Denver had kind of a high voice. That's why I did Highwaymen, because that's 3 guys that weren't known for their super. I mean, I guess Willie kind of has a high voice, but it's in my key. Let's put it that way. Country roads Take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. There you go. That's my spin. America was very united directly after 9/11. Yeah, kind of. For a very short time. For a year, maybe. Yeah. United in bloodthirst is right. And I was not free of that. I had it too. Country Road has so much more feeling than Sweet Home Alabama. The two different types of song, man. Country Roads is like a straight out nature ballad, and Sweet Home Alabama is like a down home song, you know. Got two different vibes. Not all country is the same, you know. I mean, now it is kind of like modern country is shit, but country music as a historical look is different. When did the paranoia of your fellow man start? 9/11, 2001, bro. The kids on leashes, the everybody's got cameras all over their house now. Shit, that started in after 9/11, bro. People were broken by that fear. Like, people felt true fear for the first time in their lives. We were so privileged in America that to see our buildings crumbling and to think that and there was all this fucking shit that happened that after 9/11 people don't remember. Like, you guys remember the anthrax shit, where anthrax was being mailed to people, and people were dying of anthrax, and we thought it was all fucking Al-Qaeda doing it, and it was ended up being some wacky fucking professor that went nuts. You guys remember that shit? Because I do. People were scared shitless, bro, and they started thinking everybody was looking to fucking diddle their kids. And now look at the end result of that. You've got, like, whole groups of people that are doing, like, pedo hunter communities, when you can't even really, like, prosecute a predator off of a pedo hunt that you did ad hoc. So you're basically just, like, giving these guys a heads up that they could get caught by the cops and maybe slapping them around a little bit. Like, wow, what a punishment. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's led to. Everybody thinks that, like, every human being, like, dude, what happens on Halloween? Where you guys are at, Americans. I don't care about it, non-Americans right now. Americans. Do you guys get the same shit that we get around here? Where it's like 2 or 3 kids and then a parent with a flashlight? Like, that didn't used to be a thing. My little ass ran all over the fucking extended neighborhood, doing pranks, stealing candy, doing crazy shit. And you want to know the fucking joke of it? My parents let me run the streets at a time where crime was actually spiking. The 90s were blood-soaked, bro. Like, there was real violent crime epidemic in the fucking 80s and 90s. And parents still realized that it was a statistically small factor that your kid was going to get fucking kidnapped on Halloween or some shit. And now, violent crime's down, sharp. But everybody acts like it's up. Somebody wants to deal with my kid. It's like, huh? No. Statistically, the paranoia is not warranted today. Kids should be running around with more freedom than I had, not less. There should be less parental fear of your kid being abducted or diddled or shot to death than there was when I was a kid, and there's more. Kids should be autonomous by the time they're like 12 during the day. They could ride their bikes around the neighborhood and go to the park and go to a friend's house and not have to check in every 3 seconds. They didn't have a fucking Apple tag on them, so you could track them. Is he crossing the street? No! Like, that shit is wild. What kind of kids do you think that makes? When your parents are like helicoptering you your whole life, they put you on a leash. A literal fucking leash when you were a toddler. They don't let you hang out with your friends unless they're looking over your fucking shoulder. Put an Apple tag on you so they can fucking track you. Huh? What do you think that does to kids? What do you think it's like to be raised by a paranoiac? It ain't good. Think about how much kids cost today. I'd be protective of that investment too. I guess that's a good point. But it's not like kids were cheap back in the day. This idea that everything was just free back in the day just fucking pisses me off. Yeah, I know inflation is up. I know wages are stagnant. I know it's worse now than when I was a kid, but let's not pretend shit was cheap. It wasn't. It'll make me up a water. Anybody else all about water now that like Mio is a thing? Am I the only person that's addicted to Mio? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Mio? Put a little squirt in there and it makes you like a lemonade or like a fruit punch. Yeah. Dude, I drink pretty much nothing but fucking water now because of Mio, bro. give it a squirt. I do a little squirt of lemonade and a squirt of fucking fruit punch. And I make myself like it's like a fruit punch lemonade. That's what I got right here. With some ice. I have a whole tray, a whole ice tray in my big ass thing, bro. This right here is heaven. Heaven in a cup, bro. It's the best flavor, fruit punch and lemonade. I just told you. Black cherry is good. Pomegranate is good. The rest of them are kind of ass. Oh, it's so cold. Oh, God, it's so cold. Might as well be drinking Crystal Light. I mean, yeah, pretty much. About that fizzy water, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get myself a fucking brain freeze off of that. Ooh. Don't do it. Don't go all the way. Oh, fuck, bro. That was close. Ooh. That was very close to being over the top. Too cold. What's the temperature? It's probably like 85, I would guess, right now. 84 or something like that. No, dude, when I get brain freeze, it's been like this since I was a little kid. I guess it's different for everybody. When I get brain freeze, it's right behind this eye. It's like somebody took an ice pick and put it right in the corner of my eye and stabbed it in there and then up. So it's like right here and it goes, it's like this whole side of my face just is like, oh my God, my eye will start watering. And you can feel it building. And when it goes full on, dude, when you just lose it, there's nothing you can do but ride it out, bro. And it's just like fucking excruciating pain. Yeah, see, it's different for everybody, man. The path that it takes or whatever through your sinus network and shit is different, and the pain expresses in different spots. I learned that shit because I used to think everybody got it behind one eye, and then my mom, I remember I got brain freeze drinking a Slurpee or something when I was a kid. She's like, why are you holding your eye? I was like, I got brain freeze. She's like, your eye hurts? I was like, yeah. Mine kills my back. That's crazy. Everybody gets it different. My back always hurts, so maybe I don't notice the back part. It's just in the head, dude. It feels like I said, like somebody stuffed an ice pick in your brain. Just like right through the corner of your eye. Just. God, fuck. You know, it sucks. You feel it in your liver. You feel it right between your eyes. Yeah. Dude, I saw Nuggy trying to explain that other subreddit, like how not to get banned in here. It was so funny. It was so funny hearing somebody try and describe the nonsensical rule set over here, bro. Nuggy was trying, though. She was over there like, yeah, you know, if you don't want to get banned, you pretty much gotta, like, you know, kind of learn to read the guy's moods, because if you don't, you're probably gonna get banned, you know? It's funny, bro. By the way, just so people know, no ban is ever permanent here. That's only true here. But yeah, I don't tell people when, but I always flush my ban list. So it's always just a fucking timeout, basically. Sometimes it's a long timeout. I don't do it like 9 times a year, but there's no such thing as a perma ban here. That's why I hand them out so freely, because I know I'm just gonna undo them at some point. So it's really not that big a deal. But yeah, I mean, that really is true, though. I mean, it's kind of hard to fucking... my moods are mercurial in the way that I feel about doing this. It's like tonight. You guys are safer than fuck tonight. I am not feeling vindictive or angsty. Like, even the people that are spamming in here, I'm not calling them out and being like, hey, mods, get that spammer, kill that motherfucker. I don't care. I'm just very much like fucking... And Nuggy probably would have told you that, because Nuggy knows. So watching her try and explain it to that other subreddit and shit. And it was just funny because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense logically, but it makes sense if you know what you're dealing with over here. If you've watched a Paul stream or 2 or 3, you kind of you get it. Like, sometimes, most of the time, Paul's pretty chill recently, especially here, where I don't feel the need for everything to be a big performance. I just kind of talk. Not that everything has to be a big performance on my podcast, but it's more performative, right? I do my shirt ripping off shit. But here, I don't put as much emphasis on that, but you get to see my real-time mood. Like, earlier today, before I took that long nap this afternoon, I was in a and the last couple of days, honestly, I've just been in a real sour fucking mood, and it's so hard for me to get out when I get into one like that. But it was so much different than my sour moods used to be, like in terms of 2-3 years ago, where it was always, I was in a sour mood every fucking day, and it was just a struggle not to be sour. The last couple of days, I've just been like, I think it's just stress at the end of the shooting schedule. Just had a long ass fucking gauntlet last night. Shit today, and then I've been signing all those fucking things. I just feel like I've been just like inundated and swamped lately, but a lot of that is just a function of it being at the end. We've really, like, over the years we've been doing this. How many years have we been doing this show? 7 or 6?
6.
Over the 6 years we've been doing this show, we've really kind of figured out that we need a content schedule that allots for a significant amount of time off between long shooting schedules. We've landed on every 4 to 5 weeks, depending on the month and the length of the month and how much of the year is left, right? Every 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, we take a week off. When I say a week off, I mean just we don't do our main show shit. We prepare some pre-recorded stuff for our patrons during that week, and none of us do our main show shit. I'll be streaming out here probably on my week off, but I don't do this as part of my, like, content. I do this as a free time filler, and it's adjacent to my content, but I've always enjoyed this. I've always enjoyed just talking and streaming and telling stories, and so I don't do this for money, and so it's just a pastime for me to do this stream. But the other shit we don't do. And then, if I'm gonna travel, that's when we travel usually. And the world would be a better place if we all got a week off every month of work. Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're a business owner, you can make decisions like that. And that's one of the liberating things about starting your own business, is like you get it to a certain point, and especially a content creation business, you can create things during your work weeks that come out during your off weeks.
Yeah, like for a while you had 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, but you were doing everything pre-recorded pretty much.
Right. So and that just wasn't the direction our content needed to go.
Yeah.
So we changed it up, switched it up to a more live stream.
People couldn't even really tell because...
Right. Well, I mean, people could tell, but we didn't, like, announce every little thing. We just did it.
Yeah.
That's why, I'll say this thing that's kind of antagonistic, but yeah, as a content creator, people don't know what you want until you tell them what it is. And my job as a content creator is not to give you what you think you want. It's to give you what I know you want. Right? Because if all I did was cater to what exactly you want, I would be sitting here talking about Brett Keane with 5 fucking people. right? If I listened to what everybody said for me to do, I would be doing fucking Drunken Peasants till the end of time and talking about Gail Cord Schuler till the end of time, talking about this new batch of fucking lol cows till the end of time till my eyes bled. Because that's exactly what people wanted me to do with my business. And I didn't listen to a single one of them. I listened to myself, and I listened to my friends that were also my business owners, my co-business owners. And we made what we wanted to make. And we've continued to do it too. The game changes on YouTube, we change up the show. The game changes in our personal lives, we change up the show. The game changes in general, we change up the show. We don't ask people for permission. We don't really take a whole lot of feedback on it. I mean, we might bring feedback that we've heard a bunch of times into it. I'm not saying it's never considered, but we're not looking for a game plan from other people. We're business owners. We do what we think is right for us and for you, and that's our job. You know, I mean, if it was the job of a content creator to do exactly what you wanted, you would have never gotten any Kubrick films. You would have never gotten any Hitchcock films. You know what I mean? Hitchcock would have just had to remake, you know, Rear Window over and over again. He never would have gotten to explore, you know, the paranoia of Vertigo. You know what I mean? The fucking terror of the birds, right? Like, he never would have been able to, like, spread his wings from his early work. He just would have remade Rope. And that'd have been that. But he gave people what they didn't know they wanted yet. And kept them from getting bored with his work. So if you think that, like, there's this real idea that because now everybody's a social media thing, you know, everybody's got a little presence, that, like, your feedback matters. And I'm not telling you it doesn't, but the extent to which a lot of people think that a person in my position ought to take feedback is super overblown. Super. If you make content by committee, nobody's going to fucking respect you and nobody's going to want to watch you because you never challenge them. They will tell you to do what they want until your show's in the grave. And then they'll all disappear and find something challenging to watch. So there's something to be said for fan service, but there's something to be said for artistic expression being something that is up to the artist. Yeah, dude, that was a group execution. That was cute. Like, all my mods killed that guy at the same time. Paul is no slave to the committee. You can't be. Dude, when people go like, hey guys, what do you want me to do? Have you ever seen a big channel that has that as its philosophy? Hey guys in the chat, what do you want me to do? It's like, be entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess there are people that make that type of fucking content, but that's not the type of content I make. You know, that there's this IRL streaming shit. We're like, what do you guys want me to do? Oh, you want me to go into the ladies' room as a dude? Take a big loud shit? Okay. You know? Pretend I'm jerking off in the ladies' room? Okay, I'll do that. Whoa, I got kicked out by the Walmart security guard. Whoa. Content. You know, I don't know. You see what it does to those people, though. They're all fucking alcoholics and drug addicts and felons. They're all just like, it just like destroys them. I'd rather not. Is this because of what Leonard Nimoy said to you? Yes. Well, everything that I do that is front facing, like, has an audience to it, is because of that moment in my life. At that point in my life, I was just kind of coasting on everybody at home telling me how talented I was. And then I had somebody that really worked in the business that I was pretending to want to be in tell me that I wasn't all that talented. Not in a harsh way, in a you didn't even try, and if you don't try, you're never going to do anything of note. And so I stopped being a little fucking shit that day, and I started being an actor. I went to Cal Arts in Valencia, California. It's a performing arts college, private college, that has a lot of Hollywood alumni. One of them is, well, he's not an alumni. He supported it because I believe one of his children went there. It was Leonard Nimoy. Same thing was true of Edward James Olmos. So I got to do a prepared monologue for Leonard Nimoy and Edward James Olmos. And then each one of them critiqued my monologue personally with a personal chat, right? That was part of what I got to do because I won entry into this prestigious summer school program by sending in a tape of me doing a contrasting monologues. And so I sat down with Edward James Olmos first, and he said, "Man, you did a really good job, man. I really liked your blah, blah, blah." He gave me, you know, and it was very like, he glazed me, basically. It's like, "Keep it up, man. I think you might go somewhere." I was like, "Thank you, sir," you know? And then I went over to talk to Leonard Nimoy, and he was like, "You didn't try, did you?" And I said, "What?" I said, "You didn't try." And I felt like seen, because he was right. I just didn't take it. Like, it was easy for me to memorize lines, and I didn't workshop my fucking thing as hard as I should have. And it was kind of like a lazy effort on my part. And so I decided, like, I'm not gonna lie to this guy. And so I was like, "You're right." And he goes, "If you don't try, if you don't give 100% no matter what you're doing, you will never be anything. That does not just acting. You know, you'll never make it." And I was like, "Okay, thank you, sir." And I was like, well, I walked out of there and I didn't feel chastised. I felt like I was just given a gift, bro. I felt like you ever like have somebody slap you in the face, and you're like, "Whoa, okay, all right." What year was this? It would have been 1996, 95? 95 or 96. Summer. Yeah. He yelled, "Oh my God, it's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield" once. Damn. It's the scariest encounter you've had with the spirits. Ooh. I don't think I've ever had what I would call like a ghost encounter. Not a real one, anyway. I mean, there were times when I was a kid where we got ourselves all spooked out, telling scary stories in the tent, or, you know, whatever, playing pranks on each other. But as far as like me actually like having something where I feel like, you know what happens to me that feels ghostly, but it's just me getting a whiff of something that's pretty common? My grandmother loved magnolias. And magnolias, if you've ever been around a magnolia, it has a very unique smell when it's in bloom. And sometimes I'll just be walking around and I will smell that magnolia smell, and it's like my grandmother's with me for a second, because I so associate that smell with her, because her whole front and backyard was filled with magnolia plants. And so, like, you know, there are times where it just like hits me. I'll get like a chill because I'll smell magnolia on the air, and it's like my grandmother's with me, because that smell is so powerful in evoking her memory in me. So, but I've done all the crazy shit. I mean, I did like tried to summon a demon when I was a teen. I tried to do the whole fucking like Ouija board shit. And by the way, I was always the guy moving it. There's always one on the Ouija board, and it was me. I'm just letting you guys know. I don't mean to break up your spirit nostalgia, but it was me. I know I never copped to it, but it was always me. Every time I played, it was me, okay? I was the one that did it, okay? It was too fun to be able to, like, craft a narrative with my friends and then not knowing that I was doing it. It was just, like, too fun. So it was always me. I never even had somebody, like, tug against it, like they were trying to do it. They just let me do it. So I'm guessing that that's how Ouija works, is that there's always one dude or one girl that's like, yep, I'm gonna fuck with these motherfuckers on I learned how to do tarot as a result of, you know, trying to be edgy with as a young kid, as a middle schooler. I learned how I picked up tarot, and I do tarot readings to this day. And, you know, even people that are like, I did a reading for TJ once, and he was like, dude, that's fucking, you're really good at that. And then I did, he wanted me to do it at his wedding, so I actually officiated TJ's wedding. And then I set up in a room at the mansion they rented for him to get married in. And people came in, and I did tarot readings for free, you know, as part of his, like, he had like a spooky Halloween wedding, you know. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. You guys ever do that one where you say it 3 times while looking in the mirror in the dark after midnight or whatever, and Bloody Mary's supposed to come? Yeah, we did it. Try to summon Bloody Mary. I can't remember what movie it was watched, but there was some like fucking dumb demon summoning ritual with where you drew a pentagram or whatever in chalk, and I think it was like the gate or something. And like we were just fucking around in middle school and tried to do it. It was just goofy fucking, you know what I mean? Like I've definitely been open to the experience of some supernatural bullshit. But like I've never had an experience that I would like actually describe as like a ghost experience. Are you legally a wedding officiator? Anybody can be a wedding officiator. You can have anybody officiate your wedding. This is not something that people know. You just have to file their name with the clerk or whatever the fuck. This guy drives a Harley. This guy would never go near a fucking motorcycle if you paid him $1 million. I'll ride a dirt bike. How's that? You take me to Pismo and you give me a nice fucking low CC dirt bike and I'll tool around the dunes on it, okay? But as far as me getting on a fucking motorcycle, the chances are better that my dick will grow wings and fly away one day. No, sir. Seen too much death and too much dismemberment and too much paralysis from motorcycles in my personal life. So, no. Nope. It's funny, though. It always, when people say that, because it's like, I don't see that. But I remember when I went to visit my dad, when we all thought he was dying of cancer, people told me, you know, you got to come see him. He survived it, but when he saw me, we hadn't seen each other in 6 years. And first thing he saw when he saw me, he said, damn, boy, you look like a badass biker. I was like, what? Like, Daddy, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I think maybe you're sicker than they think. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? I don't look anything like a biker. No, man, you look like a badass biker, PJ. What the fuck? All right, Daddy. All right, Daddy. Whatever you say. Sounds like he was proud of you. I just think he was happy to see me. If there was about 95% less traffic, more motorcycles would be ideal. Maybe, yeah. Might be paralyzing, but still more of an adrenaline rush than most of life. Yeah, but you can get adrenaline rushes elsewhere, bro. Like, it's way safer to just jump out of airplanes, bro. You want an adrenaline rush? Get into parachuting, all right? That's way better than riding around a fucking expensive-ass death rocket. After Blair Witch Project, were you scared of the woods? I've never been. Can I be real with you guys? I love a movie where the woods are made to look spooky, but can I be real? Every fucking time I go, like, dude, I want to go there. It's like, you guys know that movie, The Witch, where there's that like prairie, like that clearing, and then there's those old gnarled oaks, and like they make it look real spooky over there. I'm always like, dude, I wish I knew what this was, bro. I would love to go smoke a fat fucking blunt in that forest and just fucking chill out all day, camp out overnight. Like, I'm drawn to the woods, bro. I'm not scared of them. I'm also drawn to the sea. I think I'm more scared of the sea, but like in a respectful way. I understand the ocean can rise up and kill you at any moment, but I'm fucking the woods though? Nah. Yeah, The Witch is great. It's a great movie. Indoor has the creepiest woods with cannabis Care Bears and shit. Nah, dude. Indoor was dope, bro. You're a fucking hater. I love the Ewoks. Go fuck yourself. And I want to ride a land speeder too. No, I've been back east, bro. You know where it's deep and spooky? And it was my favorite forest ever. West Virginia. I spent, I think, 2.5 or 3 weeks, maybe more, in Morgantown, West Virginia. What's your favorite place to camp in California? When I was a kid, it was a place up in the Sierras called Dinky Creek. This guy's a certified badass. Oh man, can't fight for shit. Don't like guns. How am I a badass, bro? Anywhere nice around LA? I mean, I know all about fucking California, and LA is all kind of nice, but I also love LA. I love LA. People riding, people crying, people love it, people dying, people running, people love it. I love LA. No, I do, dude. LA is fucking great. A lot of people hate on it, and I don't blame them because it's a fucking horrifying shithole. But whatever. I fucking love that shithole. LA is great, man. To Live and Die in LA is a great movie. LA Confidential. I love a movie that's set in LA, baby. You live 22 miles away from LA, then you live in LA. Let's be real, bro. And you know this is true. In California, if you're 22 miles from LA, you're in LA still, bro. Let's be fucking real. What are you doing here? Where does LA begin and end? I would say that like on the southern tip of LA, it ends with what we call the grapevine. So LA does not begin until you're over the grapevine in the very south part of the San Fernando Valley. The Grapevine is a mountain pass that is notorious in California for being treacherous and shitty. So that is where LA begins on the south side. On the north side, you'd have to ask somebody else. That's what I mean. Magic Mountain is right off the Grapevine in Valencia. So I'd say LA begins in Valencia, California, at the south end, and ends at fucking maybe like well, maybe Burbank or not? No, because Burbank is, and then it's Anaheim. Maybe Anaheim kind of borders LA on the north. But it's hard to say, man. Urban sprawl is so fucking crazy there. Around Valencia to San Bernardino to Orange County. Yeah, I would say that you're probably right there. Would you consider like Palmdale kind of like a western extreme? Because that's kind of where I think it ends on the west. Like kind of up into the high desert area, kind of up through that pass is kind of where you kind of stop being in LA. Palmdale is pretty LA, but then like after Palmdale, you start getting to Palm Springs. That's not LA anymore. But I kind of feel like that's another border city of LA that you could like use to look at a boundary maybe. Because yeah, Palmdale's like right there up in like the Tehachapi desert, the high desert there. I think LA is trying to expand there, yeah. I never visited LA, but I went to San Fran. It was all the craziest cool. Yeah, San Fran is beautiful, man. And he came to fucking New Orleans. That was a crazy town. Got to see that too. A lot of people never get to see New Orleans. That's where I met you, boy. Down there in New Orleans, man. Palmdale is in San Bernardino County, and that county runs all the way to the Arizona border. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's why I said that like Palmdale would probably be like the border extreme. But yeah, San Fran is beautiful, but kind of tough to get around. Like the traffic and shit is really bad, really fucking bad in the Bay Area right now. And you really gotta kind of like sneak in the middle of the night and sneak out in the middle of the night if you don't want to fucking get like sit in traffic for 3 hours. There's like a million people. There's like way more than a million people in what we consider to be LA, bro. Way more. Way fucking more. Nowlands. Met you down a swamp, boy. Youth leader, brother Thomas Reynolds. Hello. What's up, buddy? What's your favorite LA movie? Ooh. Chinatown. Has to be. That's such a good fucking movie, bro. If you haven't seen Chinatown with younger Jack Nicholson, you're missing out, bro. Chinatown, bro. Best LA movie. Greatest. Fantastic fucking LA movie. LA Confidential is really good, but I don't like it as much. I think New York has better movies, though. I hate to say that, but New York has better set piece films overall, I think, that LA does. LA might catch up someday, but New York, I'm just thinking of all the fucking classic ass films where New York is the backdrop, and I'm like, LA doesn't really have that. To Live and Die in LA is really good, yes, it is. There's random scenes of kids bathing in Chinatown. It's, I don't remember that being a fucking featured thing, but okay. Like, not all nudity is sexual. You ever watch They Live? Yeah, They Live that's another LA movie that's pretty fucking good. I just watched Taxi Driver for the Taxi Driver is another one of those New York movies, you know. Toy Box Canyon is those big orange rocky canyons. Yeah. That's like a Hollywood staple shoot spot. I mean, every kind of like spacey, like alien movie or fucking like Mars movie or whatever, or like old Western that took place in the desert or so, you know what's funny? When I was a kid, I would talk about it a lot. I went to Pismo Beach a lot, and Pismo Beach turns into Oceano Dunes. It's a huge stretch, like 22 miles of beach. There's this huge dune area that's like a state preserve and a recreational area. So they have it roped off, but you can go out on there in your quad or your fucking dirt bike or your Jeep or whatever, your fucking Cybertruck. Just kidding, don't take your Cybertruck out there. It'll get stuck immediately. But no, you can go ride the dunes and fucking tool around and tear some shit up, right? So they were out there, people were out there one time, and they discovered a sphinx buried under a dune, right? And they were like, what the fuck? And so like people came out, like obviously they fucking told people about it, and like the city came out and like excavated all this shit, and obviously they found out pretty early on that this was pieces left over from the set of Cleopatra. Have you guys ever seen that movie with not Annette Bening, what's her fucking name? She plays Cleopatra. I mean, fucking I can't remember her name. Betty Davis, no. Elizabeth Taylor, thank you. Yeah, it was, they filmed a lot of the desert scenes and a lot of the scenes for that movie at the Pismo Dunes. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Like the outdoor scenes and the desert scenes and shit were all shot there, and it was cheaper for them to just like leave it than it was to try and clean it up afterwards. And it was so far out in the dunes, nobody noticed, and the dunes ate it. And then the fucking wind blew enough off that people found the Sphinx's face out there, and they found it again. It's fucking funny, huh? Was Cleopatra white or black? Well, in the movie, she was a white chick. Elizabeth Taylor's about as white as they come. But as far as like historically speaking, I don't think she would be considered necessarily either. Like, wasn't Cleopatra like part of like what did they call that? Where the like Rome was heavily influential in Egypt and propping up its empire and like using it as like an adjunct empire and shit. What did they call that? Yeah, the Ptolemy. It wasn't she like Ptolemaic? Yeah. She was 100%, her heritage was entirely Greek, and she was white. There you go. So she was a Ptolemaic Pharisee, I guess, right? Ptolemy was one of Alexander the Great's generally. I remember. I just couldn't remember the name. She wasn't 100% Greek, no, but there's no evidence she had sub-Saharan ancestry. Okay, well, whatever. I don't know. I guess that would have been the better answer. I had heard that she was Ptolemaic or whatever the fuck, that she was from Roman or Greek lineage, and that she was probably brown-skinned, but not black, traditionally. Who the fuck knows? I'd love to see history in real time. That would be pretty chill. She was largely Macedonian Greek, yes, but also had some stuff like Persian in her lineage. Yeah, but Persia at that time was also a fucking mishmash because the Empire conquered a lot of, you know what I mean? Like people think of things differently now. Yeah, Southern Italian or, you know, Macedonian Greek, like Northern Greek. I don't know. I've always imagined Cleopatra with like olive skin tone or like a, you know, a lighter brown kind of Middle Eastern skin tone. Do you rap? Do you like Suicide Boys? I don't know. Hagrid from Harry Potter. Wow. I've never heard that one, bro. That's the first time. You're the first one to say that, bro. Congratulations, you get a gold star. You won the internet today. Oh, man. Guy have beard. Him Hagrid. Okay. Whatever you say, bouse. I mean, the first cut is the deepest. Curious if you think Vosh's channel will survive or die out. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think you better get used to him because he's going to be around. There's always going to be people that want to hear somebody intellectualize the easy way out. There's always going to be people that want somebody to sell them false hope that doesn't come at any cost to them. Oh, all I have to do is pledge my vote years in advance to a Democrat no matter what? Cool. I'm an activist. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be around, bro. Trust me. Yeah, dude, if getting caught with, like, little Japanese anime girls sucking horse dick didn't cancel him, nothing will. Little Japanese anime lollies blowing horses live on stream. Whoop. Nothing. Nothing will cancel this man. Wanting to be the horse, bro. The whole nine, bro. I mean, whoop. But this motherfucker, like, hasn't been canceled with that, dude. At this point in history, there's no canceling him. You may as well get used to his fucking milquetoast, suck the DNC dick every time it waggles in your face fucking mentality, because that's all he's ever going to sell you. Better get used to the flip-flopping on positions, calling people retards, and then 3 months later just adopting their entire fucking position. Shut up, Dylan. Somebody ban Dylan. He's already pissed me off. He's changed my mood. Get him out. Who? Fuck you, bitch. Let me rewind 137 minutes of stream. Catch you up. Dumb fuck. Much better. I bumped up the amount of squats that I'm doing. That makes 60 today. 3 sets of 20, 3 different times during the day. And that's a huge jump for me. I always feel good when I'm done with it because I'm just like, wow. 60 squats. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, especially spread out. But I do mindfulness meditation and yoga. And my meditative style is in the tradition of Zazen. Jesus was crucified on that chair. You focus on your breathing when you meditate? Yes. I do breath mindfulness. Did you used to clown on exercise? No, I just used to be way fatter than I am. And when I first started trying to stretch and do my calisthenic stuff, I could only do 1 squat. And my knees are fucked. But I was just so fat and out of shape. And now I'm built myself up to where I'm doing 60 every day. I'm stretching and I'm way more limber. And I've lost over 60 pounds, which is awesome. Like, I hope that the health benefits continue to pile up as, I'm looking to be somewhere around 250, 260, somewhere in there. And I started at 360, more than 360, close to 370. So I needed to lose about 110 pounds, and I've lost quite a bit of that already. 60 pounds. Ain't no joke. It's a lot of weight to lose. But I still have a way to go. A ways to go, sorry. What does meditation actually involve in terms of your thoughts? You're supposed to keep a blank head. No. So meditation, mindfulness meditation, is not about stopping thoughts. It's about allowing thoughts to pass without much remark. So, for example, close your eyes. Do a little experiment with me. Close your eyes. Do not think of a fuzzy purple football. Don't imagine it. Do not imagine a fuzzy purple football. Don't imagine it in your head. What did you imagine? A fuzzy purple football, right? You guys all thought about what it would feel like to touch the fuzzy football, right? What it would look like, how fuzzy is it, right? That's why keep a clear head doesn't work with meditation. You can't go into it with this idea, I'm not going to have any thoughts, because then your brain is going to fucking have thoughts. And then you're going to be remarking those thoughts. The idea of Zazen, the idea of mindfulness meditation, is to allow your thoughts to happen, to allow them to come, to acknowledge them only in a cursory way, and then to allow them to pass through. And as you work on your practice, you will find that the thoughts in that form come less often. Transcendental meditation and mindfulness meditation are not necessarily all that different. Transcendental meditation tends to focus on a mantra. So, what is it? Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo, Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Or Jagarudev, 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 Jagarudev. It's a way to focus. I don't use vocalization in my focus. I use my breathing. So I start to think about my breathing as the outer world coming into the inner world, and the inner world going into the outer world. And I focus on that exchange. As a thought and as a physical process, my lungs fill, the outer world comes in, and I take it into me. And then the outer world comes out. You know what I mean? Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Images of broken glass just stand before me like a million eyes and draw me on and on across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are blessing and caressing me, exciting and inviting me. Jai Guru Deva Om. Yeah, I can do that full in this moment oneness thing, but it's weird. Oh, I don't think it's weird. I think it's very calming and centering, and I find that once you get good at mindfulness meditation, you can do micro meditation and shit. Like, I do yoga while I'm meditating. I focus as best I can on my breathing while I'm doing these stretches. I try not to think about anything else. And I can do micro meditation, and it really resets the gravity of my brain gets reset when I do it. When I feel myself getting like super salty, angry, kind of like, fuck you, bitch, kind of like, just my low state, I can go do that, and it's like hitting a fucking refresh button on my brain. And I probably, in that 3 or 4 minutes of stretching, did maybe 10, 15 seconds mindfulness meditation, where I wasn't thinking about my back cracking or like how good it felt to stretch or holding my breath, Linen, yeah. Well, actually, the version I was singing was the cover by Rufus Wainwright, which is my favorite version of that song. I'm not as much of a fan of the original as I am Rufus Wainwright's cover of it. Across the Universe is the name of the song, by the way. I rediscovered a great Bob Seger song the other day that's killer, Working Class Jam. If you never heard Feel Like a Number, check it out. Ooh. I don't know that I've heard it. Maybe I did. Depeche Mode. Yeah, I like Depeche Mode. That whole vibe. There were other bands that I think of in the same vein as Depeche Mode. One of them is NXS. But yeah, Depeche Mode was like that super like dance techno kind of dark. It was like a dark techno sound that they had. It was really neat. The 80s were great. If you liked synths, oh my God, bro, some of the synth stuff in the 80s, I wish people would use those types of synths some more. Like the synths in Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics. That grinding like organ, super, super like electronic organ sound. Oh, so good, man. You know who's using that type of shit? Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, Kodak Black. The front edge, what I consider to be like the front edge of talent in the rap game right now, are starting to use those 80s synths and those 80s sounds, and it's fucking dope, bro. Just such a fucking big sound, and it's like nobody wants to use that anymore in music, and I'm like, why? And Depeche Mode is like huge on that, right? Mike Dean is a famous synth guy in the hip hop world. Oh, yeah, I don't know the name, but I'll take your word for it. I know you don't like The Weeknd. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of The Weeknd, yeah. But he does use a lot of synth, you're right. I gotta be honest with you guys right now. When it comes to that sound, I think Kodak might be doing it better. Or like Cardi. It's like Kodak or Cardi, Kodak or Cardi, Kodak. Like who do I think is making the best use of these cool synth samples and synth lines and shit? And I'm constantly flipping back and forth between Uzi Vert, Playboy Cardi, Kodak Black. Uzi Vert, Playboy Cardi, Kodak Black. Like those are the three kings right now. And like, who would you guys like? Let me ask the chat. If you're into modern rap, I don't want to hear who your three ancient rappers kings are. We can have that conversation like old hip hop shit later. I'm a hip hop head, so we can have that conversation all the way back. So I got into hip hop when hip hop was fresh and new. But we're talking about like people that are dope right now, that are dropping hits right now, right? That are topping the charts, that are the big artists right now. Who are your big three? So give me your big three in one, like, comment. You know what I mean? So don't just give me one, give me your three. I love Ministry and Skinny Puppy, yes. Ministry especially. Skinny Puppy, eh. Ministry, love it. Have you know what shit I like? VNV Nation, bro. When you're talking about 80s and early 90s goth synth shit, have you ever heard VNV Nation? Dude, I had a goth chick that was hella hot, but she was a lesbian, so she didn't want me, but she put me onto VNV Nation. She used to burn me CDs and shit. She was huge into them. And I love VNV Nation. They're great. It's a little different, but you give it a chance and it grows on you, Darkcaster, if you like that kind of fucking sound, that goth synth shit. Techno goth kind of shit. It's pretty good. And it's highly revered by goths, so. Ministry is my favorite band. Saw them in San Francisco in February, dude. You know what song fucking blows my fucking brain out, bro? Do you want to know? I want you to guess what Ministry song I can't fucking not headbang to. If it comes on, I tell everybody to shut the fuck up if they're just having an inane conversation, because I just want it. I want to hear it. What's my Ministry song, bro? Just One Fix, good guess, but no. Nope. Not that's the one people always say, dude. Not Just One Fix. Nope, nope, nope. I'll give you a hint. Boom, 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 boom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Wah! Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Da-na-na-na. Stigmata. Just like a car crash, just like a knife. My favorite weapon is the look in your eyes. You run out of lies. Did they play that at the fucking show? Did they play Stigmata? Tell me they played Stigmata, bro. They have to play Stigmata, right? Because I'll go see Ministry if they're still playing Stigmata, bro. But I don't think I want to go see them if they're not going to fucking... So I'm going to get cucked. Tell me they played Stigmata, bro. What does your wiggly nose look like the Discord logo? What? My wiggly nose? What do you mean, what are you talking about, bro? Do I have a wiggly nose?
No.
Thank you. I didn't think so.
You didn't break it, did you?
Huh?
Didn't you never break it, did you?
I don't think so. I've been punched in it and had it bleed, but I don't think I've ever broken, like, the cartilage in it. I'd probably, like, would be a candidate to have my nose broken pretty bad.
A candidate for it?
Like, I'm just saying, like, some people, like, okay, so, like, do you have, like, a stiff piece of cartilage? Or,
Yeah.
because, like, some people can, like, push their nose all the way down because the cartilage that they have doesn't go as far down and it's not as stiff. If you have really rigid cartilage like we do, if you get punched right in the nose, that's what breaks. Yeah, everybody knows Paul and his wiggly nose, I guess. This is news to me. I didn't know my nose was wiggly. They did Every Day is Halloween, but a metal version. That's cool. But they better have done Stigmata, or I'm gonna be fucking disappointed, bro. Dude, that's such a banger. Then I will catch Ministry one day then. Because I'm kind of a Ministry old head, I guess. Stigmata is like an early like that's on an early record, right? The Land of Rape and Honey, right? Is the name of that record. And I think that's one of their early records. Dude, you know what band is totally fucking dope and underrated? Clutch. Dude, I can't really speak for most of their albums, but if you listen to their self-titled debut album, Clutch, that band, oh my god, dude, the fucking vibes on that band, bro. It's like, I don't know what you would call it, like scuzz metal, or like, I don't know what you would call that, funk metal. Got a favorite song from them. Galaxy, what was it called? I can't remember the name of the goddamn song. I think it's called Galaxy 5000. Or Galaxy 500, sorry. It's a Dodge Swinger 1973, top down, chassis free, panel dim, light drive, Jesus on the dashboard. No, it's not called that. What the fuck is that song called? Because you're not going to find it. Jesus on the dashboard. Oh no. Space Grass. That's the name of it, yeah. That's the name of it. No, Clutch is dope, bro. I've always wanted to see them live, but I've never, I think they broke up, or I've never like seen them coming to a theater near me. They're so much better than Monster Magnet, though. Hardcore punk is the last stage of punk. It died with hardcore, did it? If you got AIDS, go fucking die. If you got AIDS, spread it around and take some lives. Die when you die. When you die, you're gonna die. I happen to think that hardcore punk was pretty dope. Gak Galifianakis. That would be a good name. Like a good online handle or something. Hey guys, Gak Galifianakis here. Do you guys remember that the slime on what was that? Not Nintendo, you retard. Nickelodeon. Do you guys remember what that's called? No. The slime had a name. The green slime that they would dump on people? Gak. Oh, G-A-K. Gak. Is this Alan Moore? I love you. Yes, I'm back from the dead, here to preach more Buddhism and psychedelia to you. I'm young again, and fat for some reason. Fat as fuck. But yes, it's me, Alan Moore. No, dude, it was called Gak, bro. It wasn't called slime. It was called Gak.
Dude, Alan Moore isn't dead.
What?
Alan Moore isn't dead.
I thought Alan Moore was dead as a doornail.
No. He's only 70.
Well, fuck you for thinking I'm 70. I'm not that old yet, okay? Okay, I've had a hard life. I look a little older than I am, but I ain't 70. Fuck you. My father is not even 70. Yet.
Okay, there's one picture, though.
Okay, well, okay. I mean, I can see it. Can I even get the lighting right? Can I recreate this?
This one picture is...
Okay, I can kind of see it. I kind of see it.
He's got curlier hair, though.
He does have curlier hair, yeah, but the beard is dead on. And the nose, too, is like, he's got the triangle of a nose. He's got the strong... I've always thought I had a strong profile. I don't look great from head on, because you start to see the fucking mess. But if I'm like this, you're like, damn, he could be hot. Only from that side, though. My other side is horrible.
What mess are you even talking about, babe?
This mess.
What?
Wrinkles, crinkles, crow's feet, laugh lines, blackheads, sweaty, splotchy, big birthing scar in the middle of my forehead, all that.
You think you're covered in blackheads and boils and shit? Wrinkles?
Maybe not blackheads and boils, but I do have a lot of crinkles. Like, look at that. You can't deny that.
What's your forehead? That's what foreheads do when you raise your eyebrows.
I look like a fucking Klingon, though. Raise your eyebrows. You've got like one fold. I've got like 20. I look like fucking Lieutenant Worf when I'm surprised. Ancient. Masculine features. I've been told that. One of the things that I'm thankful for, and I'm being genuine about this. I'm thankful that I never really had a gender crisis at all. Like, I always felt like a man or a boy. I always knew that's what I was. And I didn't feel like I was repressed in that way. Like, as far as my expression went. I always got to, dress like a boy. I never wanted to be in a dress. I never wanted to be effeminate, really. Like, maybe some things. Like, a lot of people say having long hair is effeminate. I don't think it is.
I mean, only in very certain cultures and very certain time periods.
Sure.
It's like long hair, short hair. It's been all over the place.
Right. But like I've always been very comfortable with whatever the traditional masculine expression in the United States requires. I've felt very comfortable in that my whole life, and I'm thankful for that. Because I know that like a lot of people, not even just nowadays, but always have like, you know, it's been more of a struggle for them to, even if they feel like, even if they're not gender curious, but they feel like they don't hold up to the ideal of their gender, right? Like I'm a man, but I don't act like a man, or I'm a man, but I don't feel like I can do the same things as men. And I have that same kind of insecurity. Like I don't think I could like be a killer unless somebody was rushing me and I had no other choice, you know? I don't think I could like take up arms and like go be a soldier guy or whatever the fuck. And that's considered to be a manly trait that I just don't share. I'm not mechanically inclined beyond a very basic level, and that's not a very manly thing, right? But as far as like the way I express and talk and like all of that and dress, I've always felt very comfortable. And I realize now I think that it's more of a social issue, that's kind of like a privilege. To feel like it's okay on that level, because it like kept me from feeling like I didn't belong out in society, I think. When I went out, I didn't always like the way I looked. In fact, most of my life I haven't. And even now, I kind of like, you heard me, I'm just ragging on myself. But as far as like, I feel like gender expression wise, I'm okay going out, you know? Like they're gonna look at me, they're gonna say, oh, look at that big dude. And that's what I am, so cool.
And you had a little dysphoria, but that was like something out of your control.
What do you mean?
The medical issue.
Well, yeah. That's what I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a whole, the gynecomastia and shit, but yeah, I mean, that was the one time in my life that I struggled with that identity because of that.
But you weren't like, am I really a girl?
No, fuck no. It was like, I want these off of me. I would rather have nothing there than this, you know? My family who raised me has a Navy background, meaning all men with short hair, so me wanting to grow my hair out was never possible. It wasn't really that bad for me, but it was considered to be like hippie shit by my parents, which is funny because both of them were kind of hippies, but whatever. You know, hippies learned a lot of self-hatred. And, you know, it was considered kind of hippie shit. Like my mom loved my hair when I was a baby, and she wouldn't cut it for nothing because it was so beautiful. It's thick and this and that, and she was like, oh. And my dad eventually like got tired of hearing me get mistaken for a little girl and told her, you gotta cut my hair, you gotta cut his hair. And it wasn't like a big problem for me. I didn't mind having short hair as a little boy because all the other little boys had short hair. And but I don't remember being dysphoric either, being 5 or 6 and running around with locks. But when my dad finally like fucking stepped in and was like, he needs to be a boy, it wasn't like, oh, my identity was ripped away. It was just my hair. But all throughout my adult life, at various points in my life, I was like, you know what? I want to have long hair. Because fuck it, I can. It's like not like Starbucks prohibited me from having long hair. I just had to wear it up in a bun or something. So wear a hairnet until it got long enough to do that, right? And so I started trying to grow it out, and it's like my girlfriend at the time was like, you look fucking ridiculous. Get rid of it. Go get a fucking haircut. You look stupid. And you really do.
We didn't have the best girlfriend at that time, though.
Oh, I guess that's true. But, you know, like, that's another thing, too, is like, I don't think of it that way, but is it mean that, like, all the women that I've been with, except for one, other than you, so like half of the women I've been with in my life basically have been super critical of like how I want to dress and tell me I look like a slob and tell me like, you know what I mean?
That's bad.
But isn't that like what every dude goes, like, isn't that a very common thing that like women want men to like look more business-like or more like dressed up or more like clean cut?
I don't know all women, but like, yeah, it's just constant put downs.
Well, let me tell you a story, because this is a crazy story, right? So my first relationship, long-term relationship, real adult relationship, I've told you about her. I lost a ton of weight. I got a Nutrisystem.
Yeah.
And I got down to like 240 pounds, like the lightest I've probably been in my adult life, right? I was fucking fit. 240 for me, my frame, looked good. And I didn't know how to dress because I'd been fat since the 6th grade.
And you were always hiding.
Right, and so everything that I wore, I mean, it wasn't even just hiding. It was like coming from the 90s too. Everything's fucking extra, like if you wore a 2XL, you got a 4XL.
Yeah.
Everything was extra big. And so that was my, you can see my shit has not changed. Like I still want to dress that way. But she took me out and she was like, we're getting you a few new outfits. And she took me on like a day where it was like she got my hair cut, my beard trimmed, right? I wasn't long haired, but it was like shaggy and my beard was kind of grown out a little, long. Not this. Took me to a fucking thing to get my hair done up and my beard trimmed up, all nice and fucking business-like. Took me to these stores in the mall that I've never walked into because they don't have anything bigger than XL. Like the Gap, right? And she bought me this fucking wardrobe of clothes that I never would have touched, right? But I let her do it because I was like, this is how I was supposed to dress. And I remember the first time she put me on one of those, I hadn't seen it yet. I was just in the dressing room thing and I had to step out. And
you don't have mirrors in the men's dressing rooms?
well, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just a little closet in there and the mirror is outside and you pull the mirror back, the curtain back, and there's the mirror. And she was standing out there and I hadn't even seen myself yet. And she was like, oh my God, you look fucking amazing. And she stepped out of the way and I didn't even recognize the person standing there. It was fucking weird. I looked great, like from an outsider perspective, like in terms of like, I'd hire that guy to be my stock analyst or whatever.
Like a fitted shirt.
I had a fitted shirt on with a vest, but like a fashionable one, like not a tech vest or something, like with like no tie, but like buttoned up shirt with the collar out. That pair of slacks that were just like slim cut, so not like tight, but like not baggy at all. And I was just like, who the fuck is that? I was like, whoa. And she bought me a whole like fucking 5 or 6 of these outfits. Cost like $1,000. And I think I wore all of that shit one time before I just said, I'm not wearing this shit anymore. It just wasn't me. It was like, but that's what she wanted me to be and look like. So the message to me with that whole incident was like, you don't look the way you should. And the way you want to look, the way that you want to see yourself when you look in the mirror is fucking gross and hippie-ish and stinky looking and ugly and all that shit, right? And ever since then, I feel like that's kind of been what people are like with me. Well, at least like the first 2 big long-term relationships. My first wife, which was that second relationship after the first one fell apart, was did not want me fucking running around looking like a hippie. She would call me a hippie all the time if I was trying to grow my hair out. She would remind me of how much her dad hated hippies and shit and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, I would get to a certain length where I started to feel like, oh man, it's starting to look good, cool, it's gonna be fucking, I'm gonna have long hair, man. And then she'd fucking step in, and tell me how fucking ridiculous I looked and how shitty it was gonna look and how I needed to trim off that beard and blah, blah, blah. And I'd shave my whole face sometimes because I just got tired of hearing it. But I always wanted a beard. Like even back in high school, I had a couple friends that like had early sprouting beards and goatees and shit. I couldn't grow fucking hair from here to here until I was like 28. Like my mustache was weak sauce and the goatee was weak sauce. I could do nothing but grow these big ass fucking mutton chops. So that's what I had in high school. I grew big fucking giant mutton chops. And that probably looked pretty silly, but it was cool back in the 90s. Dudes had weird facial hair and shit. Facial hair was back in a big way. Grungy beards and weird mutton chops that looked metal. Skater, whatever. Hip hop.
Would you ever mutton chop it up again?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've thought about like not mutton chopping, but like shaving everything from here down. So like imagine like all of that is gone and it's just a bridge over my lip and then two big fucking like sea admiral mutton chops. I think would look pretty cool. I might do that someday. This is like the only fucking downside is I've got to like trim my beard real short, but you know how long it takes for the lady that did my haircut trimmed my beard pretty short. And now look at it. It's like fucking the Lemmy from fucking what you call it. If you want to gamble, I'll tell you how to win. Ace of spades.
And that might be cool to do, like if you ever get your lip done or something. Do the
my lip done. What do you mean?
Like if you got it pierced.
Oh, got my lip braid pierced again, or like whatever the fuck. Get my snake bites. Whoosh.
And just shave it so it's like extra prominent.
Yeah. That's the way.
Did you like that at all or no?
What?
The lip.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved it. But a couple of things happened that made me question it. Number one, it never like stopped because like I would have to take it out for work. There was nothing I could wear in it that I was allowed to put in it. Because like my eyebrow, I used to be able to get away with getting one of those captive ball ones, taking both the balls off of it, just leaving the bar in. Yeah. Because it didn't really show.
Well,
much.
They have like fancier stuff now that like.
I'm sure they had something back then, but like nothing.
You didn't have Amazon to go get it easy.
No, and I didn't. The piercing shops weren't a thing. It was just like you had to kind of like get what you got. Yeah. And I had a spike, and I really liked that. I thought it was cool. But I got in not a fight myself, but I had to jump in and pull a guy off of another guy, and an elbow caught me right there. And it hurt him, like made him bleed, and it fucked up my teeth. It didn't break them, but it like scraped against my gums and shit, and it kind of tore the hole. Yeah. Because like when his elbow hit it, it kind of like ripped against. And so I just took it out after that, and I never put it back in because I was like, man, if I get slapped in the mouth or something, I'm gonna break my fucking teeth out. Yeah. So. And
they have different backs now too that are probably a little bit better.
I like the way it looked. I don't know that I'd do a spike again, but I always thought snake bites were cool. Or like, what do they call the ones where it's like on your lip, kind of like?
I can't remember.
You know what I mean, though, right? The one it's not below your lip; it's like through your lip, and you wear it in the middle or off to the side. I like those too. But the labrae, I think looked cool on me, or at least I liked the way it looked. But it was just impractical as fuck for me.
I definitely am over the piercings. I had too many of them, like, reject and stuff. That, like, I just want to stick with the ones that are still working.
Yeah, I mean...
I still don't know how to take this out.
Yeah, even if you wanted to take out your conch, it's probably not a good idea to take it out. You should probably, if you like it, you should probably just leave it in there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, if I ever wanted to change it, I think I would just have to go into a place and have
It's probably just like one of those ones where they have to squeeze it with some ply. I could probably get it off your ear if you want, but...
I mean, it ain't bugging me.
I could take some wire clippers to it.
It gets clean just fine with how it is.
Yeah, I mean...
It's just like, if I ever did want to change it, it's like...
You'd have to go through the ringer to do it, huh?
Yeah.
So funny. I think it looks pretty on you, though. I always liked your conch. I always thought that maybe that's something I'd do, too, because the thing with me is, it's like I love my gauges, but who the fuck knows I have them?
And you feel like you reached your stretch limit? Because
well,
I definitely hit mine because like it was just too uncomfortable
for
me,
to get bigger. See, this is a 0.
Yeah.
I can't even fucking show you. Yeah. That's a 0, right? And for me, that was big back in the day. Like, it wasn't the biggest. People were just doing 00, 000, fucking XL ones. But it's like, that was considered to be super extreme back in the day. 0s were considered to be fat. And I like the way they look. And they're comfortable as fuck. And so I keep them. You know, when my hair's up, when my beard's trimmed, people look at me from profile, they see them, I guess. But it's not really about other people seeing them. I like just having them. I like knowing they're there. It's like a part of my day to make sure my plugs didn't come out at night, you know? Take them out when I shower, clean them real good, pop them in.
My ear piercings weren't straight, and they were always fucky, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to stretch them out, and we'll straighten out that way.
Yeah.
Because I got it done at a Walmart, my ear piercings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with one of those guns.
I had mine done crazy. You can't even get it done because it's so hard to heal. I had a hollow needle punch to a 2. So like a plug came out of my ear like that.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah, they don't do that no more.
But you know what, dude? Never had problems regaging.
Yeah.
Can always stretch back up if I take them out. Like, that's why he did it. My friend Ben, who was in a piercing, he had big fat gauges, and he told me, he was like, they won't even do these in the shops, but some shops will do it, but I know how to hollow needle. It's like, I'll get a, so he autoclaved his hollow needle and plugged me. And it hurt, and it took fucking like a month and a half to scab over and heal, and so you had to clean it and disinfect it, but after going through that, I've never had to fuck with my ears.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, that's kind of how, like, my belly button is, too. It took forever to heal, but now it's just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. The stupid dermals I had, I should have known better. Those just all fucked up.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you just, like, maybe your body just rejected them, but I don't think it was dumb to try it. I mean, piercings are great because...
I think I clustered them too close together. I think if I had just done, like, 1 or 2, but when I kept adding more, I think it fucked it all up.
Probably, yeah. I never got to see you with your dermals.
Yeah.
I used to have a burly beard and my hair down to my ass. So many people would give me looks. I cut my hair recently and took my plugs out. I like a freshly made sim character now. I look like a freshly made sim character. Dude, back in the 90s, I had a friend, Matt, and he got a punch in his cartilage that was that, like, it had to be like a...
Was it a conch punch?
Yeah. Straight through the top part of it, like this part, the meaty part of his cartilage,
I see.
and he would wear a thing through it, and it was super prominent. Like when he turned his head, you could see through his ear, you could see daylight.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I'd always heard like you can stretch out your ears, and there's a surgery where they can sew it back together if they get really blown out, and you look pretty normal. But like if you punch out your cartilage, you're basically like fucked. Yeah. I mean, you can probably get a flesh tone plug made that doesn't show unless somebody really inspects. But as far as like that healing it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did the same thing to him. That was a hollow needled, like a big razor needle that you, which I don't even know that like piercing shops will even do that type of shit anymore.
Not really.
I mean, I bet some of them do, but I bet you have to be vetted through, and you have a specialty, and you got to sign the waiver and the whole fucking nine.
Yeah, they don't just like offer it to anyone that walks in.
No.
Like you probably have to be well known to them.
But the eyebrow, tongue, and labret all got done at the same piercing shop down in Blackstone. It's gone now. It's been like torn down. I think it's like near where the auto mall is there, or was near there. It's all no. Just like Chipotle's and fucking fast food shit. Yeah, I got all those done at the same piercing shop. Not that it was like loyal to that shop or anything, but it was just always worked out, and they didn't care that I was young. Long I had the money, they didn't give a fuck. My parents, you know, always told me like you can have them call us, or if we need to come with you, but it was never an issue. Like I never had to have my parents go hold my hand. Like I got my eyebrow pierced at 15, no problem. I had the money. Had my tongue pierced at 17, and my labret at 18.
What was the story of the tongue coming out?
So you know this, or I think I've told you. I'm like partially tongue tied. Yeah. So that thing underneath my tongue, it goes almost all the way to the tip of my tongue. Yeah. And they had to pierce me at such an extreme angle that the ball would sit right there.
And it was bumping the back of your teeth and shit.
I mean, it was just weird the angle it was at. And it would irritate the bottom of my mouth because it was like, it had a weird spot right up against your gums on the inside. And so I just stopped wearing it. Because I wore it for years, though. It was the easiest one for me to get away with wearing at work. Yeah. Because it really didn't show much on me unless I went.
Yeah. But it was just awkward.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I don't know. It just never really availed me of much. Like, I honestly felt like it got in the way of doing the thing it's supposed to enhance for me. Like, it didn't
Well,
help.
the angle wasn't good. That's all.
Didn't help with my pussy eating game. Kind of hurt my. I mean, you could use the little ball at the bottom of your tongue, but like that's a weird angle, you know. So it really didn't enhance anything, and it didn't show off unless I deliberately showed it off. Like it wasn't like visually all that interesting. Because like, look, when I talk, even if I didn't have the mustache, it'd probably be a little easier to see my tongue. But it's not like my I don't have a big open mouth when I'm talking.
Probably because of the tongue tie.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I stutter sometimes. I have trouble with certain like vowels, and it's not like an actual stutter. It's just a consequence of my tongue not having the mobility of other people's tongues in language. And so I can do things. I've just had to learn how to shape my mouth and how to use my tongue to make the noise in the proper way that normally I probably would have learned how to do it completely different. There are certain things I just can't do, like whistling with my fingers. That requires you push up against your fingers with your tongue in a certain way, and I just don't have enough tongue there to do it. Have you ever had women who were into your beard? Yes. So both, like my ex prior to Amelia and now my wife Amelia, both really loved my beard. Never bitch about the beard, think it's nice and want me.
Have I asked you to change anything that you can remember?
You asked me not to change certain things.
Is that also as bad, you think?
No. That's actually kind of nice. It's like, okay, I like the way you look. Cool. I don't mind, like, input, but like I said, I've normalized it in my life as just, this is a part of the male-female relationship. As the woman is critical of the man's looks, the man is never critical of the woman's looks. I just don't even think in terms of criticism when I see you.
Well, I mean, like, if you feel like I'm putting too much pressure on you to be a certain way, or to stay a certain way and you want to change something.
No, I don't feel that at all. It's just more like, I like the compliment of it. It feels nice to have a positive thing said about how you like to look and not a negative thing. I don't feel like I have to keep my hair this way or I have to keep my beard a certain length or whatever. Just that you actually like it. You think it looks nice on me and you don't think it looks weird and you're not ashamed to be seen with me and stuff with it. And that's all I really care about, because a couple of, like, my first two exes would straight up tell me, like, I feel lame standing next to you, because I feel like I put a little effort into looking kind of nice when we go out, and you look like a fucking slob, hippie, rapper, douchebag, whatever the fuck. And skater fucking guy stuck in high school, whatever, fucking wear a button-up shirt, that type of mentality was super strong in them. And it was like, man, I don't know. So it feels nice to not have that be part, but I think a lot of that, not to psychoanalyze myself too deep, but I think a lot of that started in high school with Tammy.
Yeah.
Because of the way that she was very hesitant to do anything physical with me in public, because that would mean we were dating. I think it was more about that with her, but I also think she probably wanted to be with a dude that was like fit and maybe like way taller than her, and I didn't get taller than her. My growth spurt happened sophomore year over the summer. Sophomore to junior year, I grew like 5 inches. But I was still kind of like her height when I first got into her, and fat, kind of like childlike almost. It took me a while for puberty to like kick in my face, so I had that very round, kind of like soft face. And I just think I didn't look like the type of guy she wanted to see her people to see her kissing. She wanted to kiss a dude that looked like a fucking badass skater guy with a beard or whatever. That's the kind of guy that she would like not lust, but like idolize in the movies. When she'd giggle with other girls about the hot guy in the movie. It was never a fucking numpty little fat kid. It was always a good looking, statuesque dude, And I just kind of like got it in my head that like, man, I'm really gonna have to play on the fucking personality here, because if I'm trying to land somebody that's physically interested in me, that's just never gonna happen. And I just kind of labored under that assumption for most of my life. For my first 2 relationships, I just felt like I was...
They just settled or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you know, and I used to rationalize it too, because I used to be like, oh yeah, women don't prioritize looks as much, but it's like, they do and they don't. Like, men are obviously more tuned to look at looks first and then personality, but that's not always that way. I don't feel like either of them, because it's not like I looked any different when I got with these women. So it's like, you know, I had this like kind of complex where it was like I got women, but they weren't really into me. They just kind of like were like, they needed it. They liked my personality and that I'm a nice guy, and you know, or whatever. But they didn't like me physically, and it was always an imposition for them to fuck me or to do anything physical with me, and that fucked me up. Yeah. Fucked me up big. Never been able to fucking really sync that up properly, you know. But I also normalized it, because I just would see other dudes' girlfriends saying the same shit. You know, and it was just like a funny thing. They would do it in public, criticize how you look like a slob in public. Everybody would laugh. You know what I mean? And you would have to laugh along. And it was a joke. Sometimes it was funny, the little barbs, but I would never be like, you look like a slovenly bitch today. Never would that go over, you know? Never would I have the impulse to even say that. Yeah. So it's like, you look like a whore, you know? What? Dude, I've never even thought those types of things about women. Like, I just don't. I'm not trying to be a white knight or whatever, but like, I've said stupid shit, like in anger, called a woman a slut or a cunt or something. But like, as far as me like looking at a way a woman dresses and if she's provocative, I mean, of course, like to the extreme. If she's like got thigh boots and a thong and, you know, nipple tassels on, and she's walking with other women that look like her on the, you know, like, there is a certain level of obvious prostitute, but like, you know, I see a woman with like a midriff or her titties fucking barely covered or her ass out, and I'm not like, what a cunt, what a slut, what a dirty bitch. I bet she fucks every dick in sight. I bet she fucking freak. You know, I just never made that, like, because I never like broadcast anything about how I fucked with the way I dress, you know? And so I've kind of assumed that it was more like they like to look like that and I like to look like this, and sex is a whole different ball game, and I might like looking at a pair of Lululemon fucking yoga pants or something, but it's a difference between like browsing with your eyes and what you're thinking about that person, right? Like, you know.
So like, I felt like I was like kind of nudged into being more provocatively dressed, but then
by
like,
your boyfriend?
Yeah, but then I would like hit a limit, and then it would start being like making fun. It was like, I thought like I was working towards what he wanted with the outfits I picked, but then it hit this wall where he thought I went too far.
So he thought it got like too provocative. Yeah. I think that was more just about control than a critique of how you dress. But I'm glad that you don't feel like you're under that fucking kind of pressure with me, because I want you to be comfortable. I think you're beautiful at times when you probably think you're at your worst. But that's just the truth. You know what I mean? Like, men are very visual creatures, and your physical beauty is like notable to me, no matter whether you just woke up or whether you are dolled up, you know. And
same with you.
Well, that's very nice for you, but I have a hard time believing it, and it's not because I disbelieve you. It's just because my brain is, I've never been able to get over some of that shit.
You got a better bedhead than me, I think.
Well, that's just kind of like, because I lean into the kind of bummy look, and so if my head is raggedy, sometimes it looks kind of cool. It looks like a rock star, you know. My hair's the only good thing I got, baby, is basically what I'm telling you.
No.
No, it's true. Genetically, I got fucked in every other way. But the hair, I'll die with a full head of hair, baby. I'll look great
It
on
took
my
a long
deathbed.
time to get gray, too.
Well, I'm still not, I mean, a lot of guys in their mid-40s are already pretty fucking gray, and I'm still holding
You got
on.
some streaks.
I've got a lot of streaks, and they're growing a lot, bro. Down here, like, because my hair's grown out now, and the whole.
Yeah.
Because remember, I had my hair long,
Yeah.
and I would look at the tips of it a lot, and that was where it started, like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like now I've got my hair chopped back, and now those gray streaks have grown down into the length, and like look at that.
Yeah.
Like when the light hits that, you can see all the gray. But I love it though. I'm loving getting old from a graying perspective because I think it just looks cool and wizardly. So fuck you. You know what I mean? I can't wait. I'm ready. It's happening to my beard. I'm getting the white spot and the fucking ready.
Do you think you'd want to do a reset once you see like the grays coming in?
Oh yeah.
More, like.
Well, because I don't want to be one of those old dudes that's got like his fucking hair from 30 years ago still hanging off his chin. You know what I mean? It looks a little weird. So yeah, I'll do a fucking like not a full cut, but like a
crop to let the gray stand out.
I mean, maybe just a series of them. Like, all I'd have to do is get one haircut and then another one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Up to here, and we're good. We're golden. But yeah, I definitely like equalize, but I don't think I'm gonna need to. The way it's happening in strands, I think it's just gonna slowly but surely.
Yeah, well, it's just like replacing the ones that fall out all the time, basically.
Which is constant, by the way. I shed like a fucking sheepdog. I'll pass on the grays for as long as possible, dude. Nuggy.
Do you brush your hair when it's still wet?
No.
Okay.
I learned that lesson because that breaks your hair.
Yeah.
I wait till my hair is dry. I will sometimes put it up in a ponytail or something, but I never brush it wet.
Yeah. You do go to sleep with your hair wet though.
I do. That's
can
bad.
pull on it too.
That's bad. Yeah. I'm a bad hair guy. But I'm not as bad as some dudes would be. Like, if you take care of your hair, it looks nice. So I keep it clean.
Well, it's not that it looks bad. I'm just saying, like, that might cause more of the breakage.
Yeah. It happens no matter what I fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, when I wash my hair, I literally pull out a fistful of, especially when it was super long. Now that it's, like, not as long.
It's not as heavy.
It's not as heavy, and it's not snapping as much. But, yeah, like, when my hair was down to my ass, it was like I could just run my hand down my wet hair just very lightly, and every time I would pull away 3 or 4.
You know what the worst thing is?
But
when it gets in your butt.
Oh yeah, guys got a lot of externals down there too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll get wrapped around your wiener.
Yeah, that's.
Or like up under your balls. It's like.
Can't leave that on there.
No, you can't. It tickles, and it you can feel
it can like constrict too. You gotta get those off.
God damn it. Human body sucks.
Yeah. A hair can like fuck up your.
Yeah, for real. Doesn't it happen to babies sometimes? They'll get a tiny little hair wrapped around a finger, and then all of a sudden they got a purple finger.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta go because I can't sit in this fucking hard as a rock chair. I need to get a cushion for this fucking chair. Just something.